Welcome, Wapham crew, guys, gals, ghouls, friends, fiends, foes, whoever may be listening beyond the omniverse tonight. Let's climb aboard the mothership, secure our tinfoil hats, buckle down tight, and hold on loosely as we soar over the rocky tops of the La Platas on a rocky mountain high, get sucked into the vortex of the Four Corners, and settle down snugly at mile marker 420 in colorful Colorado. I'm your host, TessaTNT, and we are broadcasting live from the Mile High Clubhouse tonight. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, and thank you so much for joining me tonight on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. We got a little bit of a late start tonight because, of course, we have sound issues again, but hopefully it's working. I've worked well over an hour on this, so I hope it turns out good. If not, just let me know, and I'll try to fix it later on when I'm not trying to start the show. But yeah, thank you so much once again for tuning in, being patient with me, and coming to hang out with me tonight and watching some trippy TikToks. So we're live tonight on YouTube. Unfortunately, Spreaker is not live anymore, but that will be broadcast a little bit after the show is over, which is here in about 3 hours. So we'll be doing that. And if you want to listen in your free time, whether you're working it or working out, feel free to listen to me wherever you listen to your podcasts. And you should be able to find me under We Are Paradox Media. Because yes, I have a toad in my pocket. But like I said, we're doing trippy TikToks tonight. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. I really like watching TikToks, but I share it for when we're together and we can go through these. I get them sent to me all the time. But yeah, and I try not to like certain things because if I like certain things, then it kind of messes up my algorithm. Like I try to like my friends' things and I'm like, man, I can't like that because then their stuff's going to be popping up during the show. So I'm kind of torn. Maybe I should have 2 different TikTok accounts. One for me and one for the show. I don't know. But yeah, tumultuous day, really. So yesterday I took the kids into town. We did McDonald's, then I took them to the park, then I came home and yeah, I worked on dishes for hours in the kitchen and stuff, and then let me make sure my sound's on over here. Yes, it is. Thank goodness. And then, yeah, sat and watched TV for a while, and that was good. I always enjoy watching the Netflix or Peacock. I paid for that for a year, so I ended up watching that a lot. But I didn't go out and check on the chickens, and I had planned on going out there and staking out and waiting for that damn fox to come back, which I didn't. Then I go out there today and, I feed treats to the chickens, and of course they all come out, so I'm happy. Not disappointed because I was afraid, man, I'm going to come out and there's going to be another one dead. Like I have 2 down and 19 more to go so far as chickens, and then with the geese it's 21 total. So we're doing pretty good on numbers, but yeah, that damn fox has already started its stuff again before fall even falls. So yeah, I was gonna stake out and deal with that little bugger, but I didn't because I was just like, ugh, don't want to deal with it. I'm tired, and it was supposed to rain, but it only sprinkled a little. It didn't really rain, and then okay, so I go out today, I feed them treats and stuff, and then I go over and look at my garden, and they ripped out my 4 cabbages. 1, 2, 3, actually 6 cabbages that I had. 8, basically all of them. I don't know if they're going to come back. I replanted them, watered them. They ate my tomatoes, my tomatillos, my peppers, my catnip, everything. Just like trying not to be enraged. But yeah, the chickens all being there, that was the cherry on top. Like that made it to where, it wasn't too much, but getting into my garden, like that's a lot of work. And I don't know, my daughter was just like, okay, because like her cat was a part of it, I believe. Her cat was there, um, getting into the catnip. So that was that part of the garden. And then the back part that has all my tomatoes and my tomatillos. And I have so many different kinds of tomatoes. I love tomatoes. And I was so excited about this harvest. Like they're getting big, they're getting plump, they're green. There was one that was almost red enough to pluck, but damn deer got it. Anyways, let's move on to happier things, shall we? We'll move on to our trippy TikToks tonight with me, TessaTNT. And yeah, hopefully this goes well. And I made sure to mute the video here so that way it doesn't echo there. And I love this chick. She's cool. The paranormal chick.
I had to share this video with you guys tonight. It couldn't wait. This is actually coming from a woman named Lizzie. This is her Ring camera footage that she captured on the night of August 11th, 2025. And it is probably one of the wildest, craziest glitches I've ever seen. And we're actually seeing it in real time. Now, these missionaries come to her house about 8:41 at night. She doesn't answer the door, speaks to them through Ring, but this is when it gets really creepy, other than the fact that two women are showing up in the middle of the night who are saying that they're missionaries. You can see
They got the tag
in the first camera footage, their dresses are pink and it's a certain style. Pay attention to the style of the dress.
Okay.
As they walk to the porch, the whole dress completely changes. The style, everything, the color, everything. This is not a trick of lighting. Their whole dresses completely change. What is going on here? Take a look at these next two videos, comment below and tell me what you think.
It is freaking creepy. 8:41, somebody knocks on the door, and then, hold on. Check out their outfits.
They're wearing two different dresses from what they were wearing.
Is nothing compared to what they were wearing.
And we saw them. It had polka dots. They had the dresses from
go
the...
back to the other one.
We literally just saw them and they were wearing...
And, like, go fast forward, like, it changes color. Watch, go fast
Right
forward.
as soon as they get over there, out of our porch.
What the heck is this?
What the
This is at 8:41.
Look, they have
And they said they were missionary, you know.
But missionaries don't come at 9 p.m. though. That's
I asked them, you know, that, you know, it's late. And they left. And they said, I'm sorry, not trying to be rude.
That's creepy.
Check out their outfits.
They're wearing two different dresses from what they were wearing.
Is nothing compared to what they were wearing.
And we saw them. It had polka dots. They had the dresses.
Recent reports of upwards of...
What? Yeah, but what do you guys think about that? Like, it could have been a camera glitch. It could have been lights. Like, I have different lights. I have old school lights. I have the new, like, bulbs that you can squeeze and they don't break. They're, like, more plastic and they're more expensive, but they're supposed to last longer and be more economic as far as bills. But I don't know. I have to watch that some more just to figure that out. But that was the paranormal chick. Make sure you check her out if you need to. This is poor old Maddie. Remember him in his haunted house? Holy shnikes. Let's see what's going on with him. 3 days ago. Maddie McGarcy?
What's going on, guys? I know it's been a while, like months. And I keep on telling you guys and promising you guys that I'm going to come back and give you guys the content back and, you know, show everything that's still going on in my house.
It's overwhelming and draining.
Some of you know, some of you don't know. The past 4 weeks, really like past 2 months, have been horrible. Like, absolutely horrible.
I'm sorry, duty.
Probably the last 4 weeks have been the worst time of my life, maybe. So to start it all off, Petey died.
No,
We had to put him
Petey!
down. He fell, broke his leg, and, you know, he was 15. And there was really nothing we could do, so one right there. A week later, Boots, our outdoor cat, she out of nowhere started getting like these crazy seizures at night. And she'd just be like walking around in circles. We brought her to the vet too. And they said, yeah, you gotta put her down. She's not doing well at all. Not living, you know, a good life. Bad quality of life.
Yeah.
While this was all going on, mind you, June 6th, Tiberius got diagnosed with bone cancer, osteosarcoma.
What the heck?
In his left shoulder. We were getting him all these different treatments and all this different stuff. You know, he was doing pretty well. And then we were getting him these Zoldronate vaccines, and the vet told us to get this other vaccination with the Zoldronate called Librela. First shot of the Librela, you know, first 2 days was good, and then it kind of like went downhill a little bit. He was breathing heavy. He couldn't get up. And the vet said, oh, you know, that's normal. Usually by the second vaccine, he will be looking way better. Huge difference. We get him the second vaccine. No more than 5 days later, Tiberius playing with his toy, drops dead.
No.
Drops dead right in front of us. I looked that up. Librela's killing dogs all over the country, all over the United States, the UK, and Canada. Mind you, my vet said, oh, to my mom, don't tell your son about the Librela. Don't have him research it. There's a lot of mixed reviews. Yeah, now I know why.
Yeah.
So Tiberius died the 2nd of August. A week later, you're gonna say this is crazy, and I'm not even like making this shit up. Like, this has been the worst 8 days of my life. I wake up one morning, all I can smell is rotten eggs, like a rotten egg smell.
No, that's not good.
And at first, I thought it was myself. I was like, oh my God,
What did you eat?
Why do I smell like that? And like, I'm like, oh my God, that's horrible. I jumped in the shower. I go to like, you know, use my shampoo, my soap. I smell the soap. It smells even stronger like this rotten egg smell, right? Even stronger like this rotten egg smell. So I'm like really confused. I'm like doing like a sinus rinse and stuff. You know, I still smell it. I go to eat something. That same smell is in my taste buds now. Everything I eat is this sulfur rotten eggs taste.
No.
Fast forward, I don't know, it's been like a week and like 8 days now. All I can smell is this rotten egg smell and taste. I haven't been able to eat in like 4 days. Even water tastes dreadful.
No.
It's disgusting. And I got to take all these medications, you know, because of this. So I went to an ENT, and then they said, oh, you know, you look all right, I went to the emergency room. I ended up getting an MRI. And unfortunately, guys.
What?
You know,
No.
I'm really, really upset about it. They discovered a mass in my right sinus cavity. So I need to get a swab, and I need to see if it's the sea monster. If you catch my drift.
You guys need to freaking move, man.
Not, you know, fingers crossed.
Yeah, this is crazy.
But that's what's been going on with me. It's been the worst time of my life right now.
I'm sorry, bro.
So,
sending love, light, and
my
prayers.
mom was doing all this research and stuff. And she was like, you know, that smell you're smelling, that rotten sulfur, like rotten egg smell, that comes from spirits. Like, have you been playing with the Ouija board lately?
Could be
Have you been doing
demons.
anything lately?
The
You
D
know,
word.
and I'm like, Mom, no, I really haven't
Not
played,
the good
I
kind.
haven't touched the fucking Ouija board. You know, obviously there's shit that's going on still. And that's why she thinks I'm playing with the Ouija board. But I'm not. I'm
It's
really
all your
not.
fault. It's all your fault.
And you can ask her. You can ask my mom. I might get her in another video later.
You should.
The night before I woke up to this smell, I had a dream that, you know, I was in this room and stuff, and I saw like this black shadow figure, and he opened my mouth and crawled inside of my mouth.
No.
And then I woke up the next morning to this smell, and I cannot get rid of it
No.
since that day and night.
That is so bad.
So, and all this shit that I've been telling you guys about,
I believe you,
everything
brother.
started after my chain with my cross
It broke.
Look,
Yeah.
I always wear my cross chain.
What?
It broke. You know,
Tie
I
that
ordered a
together
new
with-
chain and stuff, but ever since that fucking cross broke, all this bad, negative shit's been happening to me. And that fucking cross was blessed by many, many, like, priests and, you know, bishop, all these different people with the holy water, with, you know, all this different stuff. And as soon as that came off my body, it was just like, he's open. Let's get him. Like, all the barriers are down.
Red light
Let's
special.
all strike them at once, because that's what it feels like.
Man, that's
don't know.
messed up, bro.
A lot of you guys been telling me in the comment section, you need to get out of there, you need to get out of there, you need to get out of there. They're
move.
gonna go after all your animals first, and then they're
Freaking
gonna come
move.
after you, and guess what? They're fucking doing it.
Messed up.
What's going on, guys?
Reports of upwards of 80.
And that's not a time to be saying, I told you so, or anything like that. Nobody should be saying that to him, because it wouldn't be fair. Bro, that is crazy. Like, okay, so I don't know if you've heard all the cases in the past of animals being affected by negative entities or spirits or whatnot. It happens. Animals are killed off quite quickly due to negative spirits, entities, demons, whatever you want to call it. And then what he was saying with the mass there, and the vision he had, holy shnikes. How come the house hasn't been cleansed? Has the house been cleansed? What is going on there? Pretty sure I know what Aunt Colleen is, or Colette. Is it Colette or Colleen? I think it's Colette. Is about to talk about. This is crazy. Holy shnikes, you need to hold on to your underoos for this one. Crazy.
Children suddenly missing in the Virginia area with these suspicious ice cream trucks driving residential streets at night. Multiple residents were filming and complaining of these ice cream trucks. This one was parked outside of a woman's home.
And you know what else? Sorry to interrupt, but not. Sorry, not sorry. Also, those, what are those new furry thingies? Labubus. Supposedly, these Labubus are connected with this ice cream truck thing. And there was one chick on there last night that had a Labubu that had, in the eye, you could see like a lens, like a little tiny spy camera thing. Is this in all the kids' stuff? If so, is it connected as far as trafficking, kidnapping, etc.? It's hard to say. Let's get back to it. Let's get back to it, okay?
At night, there are reports left and right in Virginia and upwards of 80 children suddenly missing. Let's talk. And let's talk
Everywhere,
about the
not just there.
absolutely jaw-dropping
Ohio,
coincidence,
other places.
what I like to call
Mostly
a
in the
God wink
East.
or confirmation, that Auntie actually had the other night. Yet
Oh,
only until
Auntie.
just today would I realize what a strange thing that occurred at my house could be confirmation from Yah about this. Oh, but TikTok, you know me, this is purely for entertainment purposes only. All things stated here, just speculation, just having a little bit of fun, new boot goofing. Let's go. Okay, now this is weird. As you guys know, I haven't really been on TikTok very much, but I just opened the app and I found out that there are, I believe, 80 children missing in Virginia. And there are some extremely sus ice cream trucks driving by people's house at night. Now,
What's going on, guys?
Sorry.
recent reports of upwards of 80 children suddenly missing in the Virginia area with these suspicious ice cream trucks driving residential streets at night. Multiple residents were filming and complaining of these ice cream trucks. This one was parked outside of a woman's home at night. There are reports left and right in Virginia and upwards of 80 children suddenly missing. Let's talk. And let's talk about the absolutely jaw-dropping coincidence, what I like to call a God wink or confirmation, that Auntie actually had the other night. Yet only until just today would I realize what a strange thing that occurred at my house could be confirmation from Yah about this. Oh, but TikTok, you know me, this is purely for entertainment purposes only. All things stated here, just speculation, just having a little bit of fun, new boot goofing. Let's go. Okay, now this is weird. As you guys know, I haven't really been on TikTok very much, but I just opened the app and I found out that there are, I believe, 80 children missing in Virginia. And there are some extremely sus ice cream trucks driving by people's house at night. Now this is weird. I live in a very remote area. On the street that I live, it's a cul-de-sac and there are only 4 homes. We all have a lot of acreage and there are no children here. Me and Uncle Mike ourselves have almost 3 acres. We never, we live in a very small town. I didn't know we had an ice cream truck. In fact, I'm going to need to look into that because I don't think we do. I was out here drawing one
These
night.
are
And
extra
I'm going
special
through my
in
ring
an
camera. I
evil
will
way.
find it. Molly was out here like she is often with me, and the door from the garage to outside, I had it open. I was standing up working on my art when suddenly something alerted her. I walked around the side of it when I heard, oh, drum roll please, an ice cream truck. No, I'm here to tell you, I don't even think, like I said, we even have an ice cream truck where we live, but you will never catch an ice cream truck where I specifically live. We are on the outskirts of town, not a busy street, but it was hands down. I even looked at Molly. I said, that's weird. An ice cream truck? And it was late. I'm going to find that video because I know our Vivint security had to have picked it up. It sounded like it drove down right by my house, right by my shop. What are the absolute odds of that? That, my friends, is what I like to call a God wink. Confirmation of any kind of a suspicion. What most people call a coincidence, I call a direct message from Yah. That was weird. And trust me, I'm going to find that Vivint security system. The footage, I'm going to. Problem with isolating and being out here a lot, every night seems to roll together, but an ice cream truck. And now almost 80 children are missing in Virginia with ice cream trucks driving all around the streets, the residential streets at night. I see what you did there, Yah. I see what you did. Recent reports of upwards of 80 children suddenly missing in the Virginia area with these suspicious ice cream trucks driving residential streets at night. Multiple.
So Rep. Annapolina Luna just came forward and...
Alright, if you haven't heard this guy, you gotta hear this guy, because this guy is intense, and I don't mean camping intense, like intense. He is on top of all the UFO foray shenanigans, whatever you want to call it. Epic. Freaking epic.
basically said on Joe Rogan's podcast that she knows and has seen and been briefed on technology and things that just are not from this planet, that is from elsewhere, right? I'm going to show you the clip now, okay? So you EastEnders and Love Island dribblers and whatever, right? Pick your jaws up, because they're about to drop, mate. Check.
Do you think that it's possible that these are U.S. vehicles that are top secret?
I definitely think that there's a level of advanced technology that the U.S. government has, and I think that that tech can be housed within the defense contractor realm, and of course some information is going to be classified. But I can also tell you, and this might sound crazy, but based on our investigations and stuff that we've seen, okay, there is definitely something that I think would rival what we know currently with physics, and a tech that potentially is out there that we don't have the ability to reproduce, because it would basically be like dropping a cell phone right off back during the time of maybe cavemans. So like we just don't have the tech to develop it yet. What I can also tell you is based on our interviews, and this has been something that you can go back and watch with the congressional hearings, but I was actually able to ask some of the witnesses, what are these things? And they keep saying interdimensional, and then when you talk about the interdimensional aspect of, are these things pre-existing, maybe outside of what we currently know as our own dimension, that stuff can kind of all sound crazy, but at the end of the day, my job as an investigator is to receive all the information, decipher it, and then ultimately from a congressional aspect, if you do have contractors that are withholding information or operating outside of the purview of the federal government, I mean, there's budgetary issues, but there's definitely something that I can tell you with confidence that exists that we don't know how to explain.
And I don't think people are still grasping what she's just said, right? The words, the things that she just spoke about there blows everything out of the water, okay? So, everything that all of us have been talking about for the longest time is true. Right? We've had people that are literally being banned. We've been shadow banned. We've had creators on this platform removed and other platforms and people just shoved to the side. UFOs around the world. Matt, Dillpop, Sassy, Jake, fucking Shiv, Grant, everyone that have been talking on this topic. We have been battered around, shadow banned and shoved to the curb, mate. Right? It's there, plain as day. Holy fuck. So, Rep Anna Polina,
Matt Riff and Elton Butt, The Warrens,
Yeah,
a cult museum.
Okay. Website and products are good? Okay, so we're going to do it.
Even just pointing this out is probably going to cause a whole load of arguments from the different communities on ancient history here. But it was pointed out to me that the Atlantis ring, this is a replica of the Atlantis ring. If you don't know what that is, I did a video of it a few years ago on my YouTube channel. It is a ring, a very weird ring that was found in a very early grave in Valley of the Kings in Egypt.
Wow.
It was a priest of the second dynasty, so like super duper early. And design of the ring was super unusual. Nothing else really like it. Weird that it had like triangles on it. So, considering it was like second dynasty and supposedly pyramids, but it's been pointed out that the recent updated scans from the SAR Giza pyramid satellite scans, it actually looks quite similar. Do we think? The original ring wasn't made of metal; it was made of clay. And it had a more round, this is a bit more of a geometric version of it. It was originally much more rounded. These pillars are more round, which again looks even more like the rounded pillars, well shafts thing on the scans. It was found in 1860 on a second dynasty grave, and it was inherited by a sort of scientist or a pseudoscientist who was researching about how geometric and sacred geometric shapes can impact human, what's the word? Like energy fields, because we have energy fields going at us all the time, brain waves, microwaves, all of that jazz. And he he sort of he made this thing called the Luxor bar or the Atlantean bar. So he made the ring as if it was like a bar shape. So you can either wear it as a pendant or you can wear it as a ring. And anyway, this dude who was studying the geometric shapes of the Atlantis ring, he found evidence in his studies that it could actually positively affect your kind of aura or your energy field. And so now people wear them as like talismans, and they say that they feel more focused or more protected or whatever. Now, whether or not that is down to what you believe, I mean, that's down to what you believe. But, or what's that effect? Oh my God, my brain is not engaged today. Placebo effect. So whether or not you believe it's the placebo effect or whether or not geometric, sacred geometry can affect your immediate surroundings and your own things. I think there's a bit of truth in that, because I've been wearing this Atlantis ring for a few years, and I do feel better when I wear it than when I don't. But yes, I do have to say that
the imagery on this ring, which I always found weird because there was nothing else like it on Egyptian jewelry or Egyptian imagery. I couldn't find anything else quite like this. It does look remarkably like the what could be going on underneath the pyramids.
Ooh.
And again, all of the coolest stuff, in my
like
opinion,
the houses
always
with
comes out of the
pillars.
pre-dynastic or early dynastic Egypt. It just is all this cool, like, geometric shaped stuff, the vases, the big megalithic stuff, the schist disc, all of those weird out of place objects, the Atlantis ring. Yeah, and I'm not exactly sure why they called this the Atlantis ring. It got nicknames, the Atlantean ring, probably because they believe that in Second Dynasty it was harking back to shapes or technology or artwork from pre-dynastic Egypt, from the start of civilization. But yeah, and also interesting that when I spoke to an Egyptologist when I first ever went to Egypt, we were at the Temple of Edfu looking at the Atlantis texts, or well, the Thoth text that supposedly could be referencing Atlantis. And he said that, interestingly, the shape of the obelisk and the pyramid were, like, the design of them were not invented in dynastic Egypt. They were a legacy design from the pre-civilization. Everyone in Egypt, ancient Egypt, believed that they were a legacy, a 2.0 civilization from a civilization that came previously, and that specifically the obelisk and specifically the pyramid were from before. So I think that's why it's associated with Atlantis. Either way, very cool. What do you think?
That's
Even
pretty
just pointing this
cool.
out is probably going to cause a whole load of arguments from the different communities.
It's time. Welcome back to sleepwalking.
Selena spoke about you're scaring me.
I need to know how this works. How many were there? How many forks? 7. I've never clenched this hard before.
Keep seeing orbs.
No, never! It hurts! I don't get out. Well, get out. I have a sword. Give them to me!
Y'all,
All the dogs are freaked out. Okay, so supposedly, and I don't know if this is true or not, but it could be. We'll find it out. But supposedly she eats a lot of cheese and chocolate, 2 things that start with a CH, to get to the stasis of sleepwalking. I don't know. I had to skip on that because she's so loud. She's blowing out my eardrums. But let's get over here to my girl, Miss Amber Bowden Vance. And let's talk about some damn old ghost stories and creepy stuffs.
To St. Petersburg, Florida, in the mystery of the Cinder Lady. Mary Hardy Reeser was born in 1884 in Columbia, Pennsylvania. She married Dr. Richard Reeser, and they had one son, Richard Jr., who also grew up to be a doctor. After her husband's death on May 30th, 1947, Mary moved to St. Petersburg, Florida to be closer to her son. She moved into a nice little apartment at 1200 Cherry Street, and when she lived there, she only had one neighbor, her landlord, Pansy Carpenter. During her years in Florida, Mary was involved in the local women's club and was an active member of the First English Lutheran Church. But in 1951, at the age of 67, most of her days revolved around her son. Richard Jr. was a prominent physician in town, and he and his family lived nearby. Mary was known to wake up every morning around 6 a.m. and listen to the radio while she completed her tasks around the house and got ready for the day. She would eat breakfast and then she would wait for her son's daily morning visit around 10 a.m. when he would stop by and the two would drink a cup of coffee together before he headed off to work. Mary would then go about her day and would return home around 4 p.m., take a nap, and then she usually went to eat dinner at Richard's house. By 8 p.m., she was usually back home and would listen to the radio for a while again before heading off to bed. She had a routine, and she rarely deviated from it. But on July 1st, 1951, when Mary returned home around 4:30 p.m., her neighbor, Pansy, noticed that she seemed a little upset. And Pansy also noticed that Mary never left to go eat dinner at Richard's that night. She went over and spoke to Mary for a few minutes, and Mary just told her that she'd had a bad day and was still a little upset. Pansy assumed there had been some kind of family argument, but later learned that Mary had been disappointed about her son having to cancel his trip to go with her to Pennsylvania. Around 8 p.m., Richard stopped by to see his mom, and he stayed only a few minutes. Mary told him that she'd taken her sleeping pills and might take a couple more later if these didn't kick in pretty quick. And Richard kissed her on the cheek, said goodbye, and when he left, his mother was sitting in her easy chair, smoking a cigarette, and was wearing a rayon nightgown and black satin slippers. Around 5 a.m. on July 2nd, a loud thud sound woke up Pansy. She got up to use the bathroom and thought she caught the faint scent of smoke in her apartment. She figured it was probably the water pump overheating again. So she went to the garage, turned off the pump, and went back to bed. The next morning, a telegram arrived for Mary. It was from a friend in Pennsylvania, telling her that all the arrangements for her trip had been made. The delivery boy gave it to Pansy, who signed for it, and then she went to give it to Mary, along with the morning paper. She knocked on Mary's door, but nobody answered. And when she touched the doorknob, she found it hot to the touch. So she began banging on that door more frantically, which caught the attention of two painters working nearby. So they came over to help, and they forced the door open. And inside, nobody could quite comprehend what they were seeing. They found Mary's burnt-out easy chair and a 5-foot circle of burned carpet underneath it. And there was also a large pile of ash, which contained Mary's intact left.
See, that's what I was about to say. Is this the one where the chick's, like, feet and ankles and shoes were still there, but everything else was gone? Like, how does that happen?
Foot, still in its satin slipper. And this was all that remained of Mary Reeser. Upon inspection, the scene got even weirder. There was some soot on the walls and ceiling that started at table level, nothing underneath it. There were a few
spontaneous
plastic items near the chair
combustion
that had melted and lost their shape. And one of the electrical outlets had melted, which stopped a clock that had been plugged in at exactly 4:20 a.m. But there was also
Holy
a stack of
shnikes.
newspapers sitting nearby that was untouched by the fire, just like her bed. The bed sheets were still
Doesn't make
pearly
sense.
white. Besides this area of her apartment where her easy chair had been sitting, where she was sitting, nothing else in the apartment was burned, or even really contaminated by the smoke. Yet Mary's chair had been reduced to only its springs, and Mary herself, besides her leg, had been cremated. In the ash, police found only a few teeth, part of her
Yes.
spine, and reports claimed that her skull had been shrunken to the size of a cup by the intense heat. It appeared that the 67-year-old woman had just, quote, disintegrated by a blaze of white-hot intensity. Investigators were baffled. How had Mary burned at such a high temperature that all but one leg had been reduced to ash without catching the rest of the apartment on fire? Theories abounded. Some believed that Mary must have been attacked and set on fire, but there was no sign of a break-in and no signs of a struggle. Others thought
Even so, okay, so bear with me here, grr. Even if that were the case, there's newspapers nearby. There's different things nearby that are flammable, combustible. If it's that hot, just the heat alone should catch those on fire too. This makes me think of Star Wars, Ronald Reagan, spontaneous combustion, which happened to quite a few people, and it never made sense, ever. It was quite spectacular in its own way.
maybe she had been abducted, killed elsewhere, and then the scene staged back at her apartment. But that was quickly dismissed too. Mary had no enemies, and there was no cause for anybody to hurt her. Police also received an anonymous letter that stated that a ball of fire came through the open window and hit her. I seen it happen. That was also quickly dismissed, though it was noted that one of her windows was open. So it was also
I've seen a ball of fire, and it didn't come through my window. It slapped on my porch, came up through the floor, hovered, went over here, and shot towards my brother. Out the door. It didn't light anything on fire, so I don't know about that.
also speculated that maybe she had been struck by lightning, but there had been no storms and no reports of lightning. Night of July 1st
Star
into
Wars.
the morning of July 2nd. But the most
Lasers.
widespread theory, the one that is still most widely spoken about today, is that Mary Reeser was a victim of spontaneous human combustion when someone just bursts into flame, supposedly
For no
caused
apparent
by
reason.
some type of chemical reaction in the body without any ignition from an external source. That is scary. The mystery of Mary's fiery death gained national attention, and the media began calling her the Cinder Lady. the St. Petersburg police chief, stated that her case was the
That'd be a
most
good movie.
unusual case I've seen during my 25 years of police work. And he decided to reach out to the FBI for help. They sent them a box containing Mary's remains and a few other items from the scene. And about 3 weeks later, they received a 100-page report from the FBI, stating that Mary Reeser did not spontaneously combust, but had fallen asleep while smoking a cigarette and had caught fire due to the wick effect. The wick effect is basically when a person catches on fire and burns up in this slow burn from their clothing and their body fat, literally like a human candle. They concluded that Mary had died from a combination of sedatives and a lit cigarette, and that the wick effect is why the fire stayed localized to her body, which is why the entire apartment didn't burn down. I still got questions, but okay. Apparently, even after the FBI's report, a lot of people still had a lot of questions. Dr. Wilton Krogman, a physical anthropologist from the University of Pennsylvania, wrote that I still cannot conceive of such complete cremation without more burning in the apartment. And then noted that I regard it as the most amazing thing I've ever seen. As I review it, the short hairs on my neck bristle with vague fear. Were I living in the Middle Ages, I would mutter something about black magic. To this day, the mystery remains, and many still strongly believe that Mary Reeser is a prime example of spontaneous combustion. There was obviously not much left of Mary to bury, but eventually her leg was returned to Pennsylvania and buried at the Chestnut Hill Cemetery next to her husband. And whatever the true cause of her death may have been, Mary's family believed that her spirit lingered, not only in her apartment, which is still there, by the way, but that she lingered throughout the neighborhood. If one of them caught the odd scent of smoke that did not seem to have any source, or if they heard footsteps behind them, if a door opened or closed on its own, they would just smile and tell the kids, "Don't worry. That's just Grandma, and she's friendly." But a friendly ghost or not, this is one of the craziest stories ever. The first time I ever heard about the possibility of spontaneous human combustion, I had literal nightmares. I just knew I was going to explode at any minute. But what do y'all think happened to Mary Reeser? Was it really the lit cigarette? Or do you think she did spontaneously combust? Let me know. Y'all want to hear?
Y'all, okay. Let's get on this. Okay, so I heard about this. Shoot, the first time I heard about it, I think I was in like junior high. Had a really cool science teacher, and we were talking about this spontaneous combustion, Ronald Reagan, Star Wars, all this other stuff. Like, isn't it amazing that this stuff happened generally in a like, I want to say 5-year period, but I don't even think it was like that spread out. But it was about the same time period. Ching, 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 different places. And same thing. Oh, well, they went to sleep smoking a cigarette. So therefore, that's what happened. And that's why only they burn up. It was the wick effect. And they're like a human candle. No. Fire does not get that hot. Fire has to get so hot in order to cremate the rest of you. And not your feet, and that's generally what's left, are their feet. Whatever's touching the floor, whatever is furthest away from whatever's coming down from above, which is a freaking laser beam. I could be crazy. I mean, I'll give you that. You can call me that if you want. But no, this is not spontaneous combustion. This is not a freaking cigarette. This is not anything like that. If it were, there'd be more of a fire. This is hot, fast, flash. Laser. Freaking laser beams. Come on, people. Work with me here. Yeah. Pretty trippy. If you ask me. Pretty damn trippy.
It's another one of those wow moments.
Y'all want to hear a story? This story is
it's another wow moment.
It's another one of those wow moments.
What?
I honestly believe that the only way to get to the bottom of all of this stuff is by providing irrefutable proof, factual-based evidence, despite people's personal feelings or opinions on this issue. And this is a prime example of what I'm talking about. And let me just, first of all, just commend Ross Coulthard for his continuing efforts to push for the truth on this issue. I think the level of professionalism that he has shown, the consistency that he has shown,
yes,
and the dedication to this, despite all of the criticism from mainstream media, is nothing short of heroic. On top of someone by the name of Dr. Beatrice Villarreal of the Nordic Institute of Theoretical Physics. She was also, I believe she's done some presentations at the Sol Foundation as well, but this is just incredible insight and fascinating evidence. I said to you guys before that this is never going to come through conventional channels. You're not going to see this stuff on BBC at 6 o'clock. You're not going to see this stuff on CNN. They refuse to cover this based on cognitive dissonance, probably some corruption, and some, the deep state pulling some strings to stop these people doing, mass coverage of these issues. This is nothing short of incredible. And it's based in scientific fact, intelligence, and smart thinking. This woman, she's already a hero in my book as far as I'm concerned, but this is just fascinating. So I'm going to start reading because there's a lot to go through here. And I am going to be reading off the presentation on my screen here because there's a lot to go through and I can't memorize all this, sorry. So Dr. Beatrice Villarreal of the Nordic Institute for Theoretical Physics has discovered tens of thousands of unexplained transient objects on 1950s astronomical photographic plates before humans launched a single satellite into space. So these are images that were taken, I believe, by a telescope in California pre-Sputnik, before 1952. There was nothing up there that was ours. This is where it gets really cool. Okay, so basically, these objects emit specular reflections, mirror-like glints, appear in statistically impossible alignments, okay, avoid the Earth's shadow, suggesting sunlight reflection, not photographic errors, correlate in timing with nuclear bomb tests and major UFO events like the 1952 Washington, D.C. flyover, may still exist in geosynchronous orbit and modern surveillance agencies might already know. So these things, and she did a time frame of, I believe, 30 minutes to show that they're transient, that they're actually moving, in some cases in synchronous orbit with certain locations across the globe. This is pre-anything that was human-made that was put into space. That's how you go after data. That is how you send a Hail Mary. This is a Hail Mary. Okay, so Villarreal suspects we may be observing non-human artificial technology, possibly alien probes. And again, she's guessing that. She doesn't know for sure. But based on the nature of the objects, the extreme improbability of them being in those locations, certainly in geosynchronous orbit suggests nothing else, which is why it's process of elimination based on scientific peer review. Now, there's a whole element of this that Ross Coulthard's just done on his segment on News Nation, which you have to watch on Reality Check. This is a fascinating watch. It's not very long, about an hour and a half. Really, really, really interesting. So here we go. So key points. Okay, so here we go. So what the Vasco project did. So it used digitalized glass plates from 1950s sky surveys. They looked for transient objects that appear briefly and then vanish. Okay, 300,000 transient events identified before Sputnik. So nothing should have been there. Nothing should have been there. Nothing. These plates predate 1957 Sputnik. No satellites, no space junk. Nada. Nothing. Yet thousands of glinting point-like objects. Okay, specular reflections. So the smoking gun. This is the smoking gun. Bright, short light flashes equals mirror-like surfaces. Mirror-like surfaces, okay? Statistically vanish in Earth's shadow, not photographic defects. Okay, now this gets very technical. 21, so some of you that are scientists might understand this. 21.9 sigma significance. Near certainty, they are real and sunlight reflecting. Number 4, aligned point-like objects. So multiple transient form perfect lines. Remember, Mother Nature does not draw in straight lines or right angles. Okay, that is a fact. One such alignment dated to July 27th, 1952, the same weekend as the Washington, D.C. UFO flap. Number 5, correlated with nuclear tests. So transient events spike immediately after nuclear detonations. Also correlated with UFO sightings, reports 3 sigma significance. Estimate, 70,000 to 200,000 objects, possibly in geosynchronous orbit, 42,000 kilometers above the Earth, approximately. Some may still be there today, possibly tracked by the US or Russia. So, the IC might be fully aware that these things are in geosynchronous orbit and are keeping it hush-hush. That is what Dr. Beatrice has discovered. This is just unreal. This is unreal. And this is based in scientific fact. There is no opinions here. This is not up for your feelings. The date, she's already provided the data. Ross talked about reading the data. I'm going to get hold of a paper and have a look at this in more detail. I think this is probably the most significant event in the summer so far, for sure. Because what it does is she's doubled down based on the scientific evidence. You can't refute that. There's no way of refuting it. So, okay, here we go. Let's talk about the period. Wait a minute. So, possibility of it being aliens. So, not definite, but Dr. Villarreal says it looks technological based on their initial findings. Okay, it could be alien probes, past advanced civilization artifacts, or phenomenon unknown to physics. So, this one's a little bit controversial, but also a little bit concerning. Some people have hypothesized that we are not the first advanced civilization and that we go through a cycle every 11,500 to 12,000 years, which aligns with the Younger Dryas. And you know who I'm going to say next? Graham Hancock. Yeah. And Randy Carlson as well, the geologist. So we could be at the end of our cycle here, which is why all these dates are coming up again, which I know is a very, very bleak thing to think about, but we might be going through the Younger Dryas again, which means it would wipe the slate clean of all of us, which I know is a horrible thing to think about, but that could be on the horizon. So what they're saying is it could be from the previous civilization that advanced to the point where we are, but in a different way, and had things in space already. And that has to be put on the table. And she even says that has to be a possibility. We can't take anything off the table yet because this is all new. She said that she sat with sick to her stomach for days after discovering this data as a scientist, and was trying to contemplate this new reality that was discovered. This is huge, but again, you're not going to see this in mainstream media. You're not going to see this covered by BBC, MSNBC, NBC, Fox News.
No.
You know, you're going to see it from people like me and and other people that don't have an agenda, that just want the truth. These are statistical facts. This is science-based evidence, of which I'm about to read right now, based on some peer review. So the paper is in peer review. She expects backlash, obviously, from mainstream astronomy due to the stigma, but welcomes scrutiny to strengthen the research. So I'm going to do some deep diving now, guys, into where I can find this peer review data and do another video so that you guys can find it yourself. And again, please share this with any scientist that works within this category of science. This is the sort of thing that we need to be doing. We must, when it comes to evidence-based stuff, we've got to have it peer-reviewed by the masses. It has to be peer-reviewed by everybody, looked into, doubled down on, critiqued as much as possible to get the objective outcome that we need. And this could be the smoking gun. It's, irrefutable. But what I find fascinating is a very clever way of doing it, though, isn't it? Doing it pre-anything in space that we made, pre-Sputnik. I think that's fascinating.
Yes.
I think it's truly and honestly fascinating.
It is.
So if we didn't put them there, who did?
Exactly.
Were we being watched during our nuclear awakening? Is that what, because...
Or could it be from past civilizations? Because, I don't know if you know, but I know. How do I know? I don't know. I just know. We have had past civilizations where we've made it to a certain extent of technology, etc. And somehow we kill ourselves off repeatedly. So it could be us and our own satellites up there, like the Dark Knight and other things like that, or it could be otherworldly beings.
Because there's a lot of data to support that when we started our nuclear phase, a lot of this stuff started showing up. Maybe that's some sort of universal way of going, no. We've seen civilizations do this before, and then they ended up doing themselves in. Maybe it's a way of monitoring and stopping it from happening, because nuclear is not the way forward. Potentially, on a universal scale, maybe there's some sort of agreement. We don't know. Again, this isn't exactly speculation. This is based in science now, so you can't refute that. So again, the doctor you need to look for, if you want to do some more research on her, is Dr. Beatrice Villarreal of the Nordic Institute for Theoretical Physics. You can't get more space-oriented than that.
It's right here, Dr. Beatrice Villarreal. Pretty intriguing.
So, yeah. You heard it first from DK. Digest this one, guys. Thank you very much. Take care.
Drummer. All right, well, on that note, boys and girls, we do have to go to our first music break. On this break, we have the lovely and talented Miss Tamra Bubble from the greater New York area with Laundry, Out the Mud, and Cute Panties. Then we have Fluid with I Love It, and Griff with Best Life. Griff is from Toronto, Canada. Fluid, I believe, is from Wisconsin. I don't know, I'll have to look that up on break. But anyways, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this music break.
Hey, get up on that washer. Hit the spin cycle till I come home. The way where I'm at, I'm out here bread winning, so don't hit my phone. Shoulda never gave you treats like that. You got a sweet tooth, come on, leave me alone. And every time I try to get some sleep, I wake up cause you doing me wrong.
Keep up undercover.
It's a bad it, gotta love it, hate it. That you got me weak, cause now we going. At least she's like, who doing laundry? Who doing laundry? Who? Clean, be grateful for this delicious food. Why you want no pause? What you scrubbing floors cause you want some more? But you like it dirty, you are so dirty. You like it dirty, huh? Undercover. Love it, hate it, that you got me weak, cause now we going. At least she's like, who doing laundry? Who doing laundry? Who doing laundry? Who doing laundry? You doing laundry? Who doing laundry? Undercovers, it's a body, gotta love it, hate it, that you got me weak, cause now we going. At least she's like, who doing laundry? Who doing laundry? Who doing laundry?
Second of all, why you creeping?
Third of all up on me, rubbing like conditioner that you be trying to leave in. Relax, love, keep breathing. And I would say keep cleaning, but you like it dirty. You is so dirty. You like it dirty, huh?
Would say keep cleaning, but you like it dirty. You is so dirty. You like it dirty. Would say keep cleaning, but you like it dirty. You is so dirty.
You like it dirty. You are so dirty. You like it dirty, yeah? Undercovers. Yeah, but you like it dirty. You are so dirty. You like it dirty, yeah?
I'm ballin', making buckets back to back like I was Stephan. Better yet, I'm Dale Jackson, so don't treat me like the next man. And I'm kind of a real big deal, so don't be out here second guessing. Anyway, I make my pay and live this California lifestyle. Sunshine, loud packs, and chicks that love to get wild. That's how we do it every day. Slipping, sliding through the traffic on a mission for the day. Clearing marks about my way. We ain't got no time for y'all today. And all the craziness y'all talk, but never get your story straight. See me out here living great. I don't give a about all that hate. And when it comes to kicking game, I give you all that you can take. Trying to do it big, got no complaints. Every morning eating steak. They say I'm wrong for showing out, but I'ma do it anyway. Cussing thing ain't nothing, bitch, cause I can do it any day. And it don't matter where I go, I always represent the yeah. me I'm a type now. Swagger through the roof, got everybody on my height now. So in love with this lifestyle. And I love it, and I love it, and I love it. So in love with this lifestyle. Anything I want, I say the word, I get it right now. See me, I'm out here getting it and loving how I live. Best believe if I do something, I'm a stupid, do it big. And this hustling is my gig, so don't you ask me what I stand for. Stacking while I'm macking, trying to earn myself a couple Lambos. Yeah, you know them toys for them big boys. Emperor of sorts and all you other players decoys. Meaning you're not the real deal. Keep an appetite for dollars that I never miss a meal. All you suckers need to chill. I'm just trying to stack a meal and pull the baddest bras around and love show they sex appeal. Little bit of Netflix, then we chill. Losing clothes, keep on them heels. Working like a 9 to 5 and go right back to chasing skrill. I bring that real, never that phony. BS, y'all be stressing, put it down just like an OG. Perform these cookies, take flight. Some of y'all just out here acting. I'm a boss in real life. I'm so in love with this lifestyle. Anything I want, I say the word, I get it right now. Boppers used to hate me, now they tell me I'm a type now. Swagger through the roof, got everybody on my height now. So in love with this lifestyle. And I love it, and I love it, and I love it. So in love with this lifestyle. Anything I want, I say the word, I get it right now. Keep it more 100 than a C note. Hall of Fame spitting, representing with these pimp quotes. Don't try to front, you know this shit's dope. Question is, will I ever fail? My answer is no. I make this hustling look amazing. Put it down, doper than a blunt of purple hazing. Spicy on the mic, I bring the fire like a Cajun. Scoville, making haters sweat when I be blazing. Leaning to the side, haters everywhere. Yeah, I hear them talking, but they simply wasting air. Can't understand the reason that they stay in my affairs. But I'm major with my movements, getting money everywhere. I'm so in love with this lifestyle. Anything I want, I say the word, I get it right now. Boppers used to hate me, now they tell me I'm a type now. Swagger through the roof, got everybody on my height now. So in love with this lifestyle. And I love it, and I love it, and I love it. So in love with this lifestyle. Anything I want, I say the word, I get it right now. So in love with this lifestyle. And I love it, and I love it. So in love with this lifestyle. Anything I want, I say the word, I get it right now.
I get that feeling I'm doing time, and I'm okay on landing out at sea. So pop the headed in the daytime. Promise you'll keep sunshine on my feet. Somebody pinch me, this is juicy, juicy. Squeeze out this warm glow
care if my head ain't right. I'm gonna live my best life. Don't care if my head ain't right. I'm gonna live my best life. Don't care if my head ain't right. Do you and live your best life. Don't care if my head ain't right. Where you from? Who you with? Are you a band? Are you a clip? I do my thing, stay legit. In this world, no one's innocent. VIP, get bottles. One snap of my fingertips. See these haters like blah blah blah, blah 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 blah, talking gibberish. I'm gonna live my best life. Don't care if my head ain't right. I'm gonna live my best life. Don't care if my head ain't right. I'm gonna live my best life. Don't care if my head ain't right. Do you and live your best life. Don't care if my head ain't right. Rolling and rolling and rolling SUV. Rolling and rolling and rolling with my homies. Rolling and rolling and rolling SUV. Rolling and rolling and rolling with my homies. I'm going to live my best life. Don't care if my head ain't right. I'm going to live my best life. Do you live your best life? Do you live your best life? Do you live your best life? I'm going to live my best life. Don't care if my head ain't right. I'm going to live my best life. Do you live your best life? Do you live your best life? Do you live your best life? I'm gonna live my best life. Don't care if my head ain't right. I'm gonna live my best life. Don't care if my head ain't right. I'm gonna live my best life. Don't care if my head ain't right. Do you and live your best life. Don't care if my head ain't right.
Yeah. Bubble on that. Yeah. Real cute. Underwear. To be honest, I don't really wear many. I don't even really rock panties. Let me be clear, I'm used to getting a few new big pair each year from my granny. Couple sexy ones that might come off, and I done had way too much. Any a drunk text go out. Like, come and eat the sweet juicy pie down there. I'ma go that route. But now, nigga, wrong song. I only need a couple of bars to turn you on. That's why I started mentioning that lingerie, but pull her to the studio with some long johns. This verse about to take a turn for the worse, and all them cute panties gonna be long gone. Cause the hating niggas that I wrote it for, they ain't afraid of wordplay, that's why they wrote this for. So I'ma drive them wild. Thinking one day they might hit all about my boy shorts, G-string, slutty thongs. Even put them edible panties on the cover so they wonder how that bubble tastes. You can stay mad, be miserable, old, predictable, maybe not even applicable. But yeah, you typical. Check your mans if it ain't you, cause way too many queens rocking shades cause they eyes black and blue. Way too many dudes putting hands on the bra. That make you feel like a man. Mishandling a weaker vessel, yeah, you saw. Yo, look, it's way too many dudes only wanna spar. But ain't got no conversation, only wanna gossip when we talk. Why I keep seeing these grown dudes out in the broad daylight like some broad? Why I keep seeing these dudes letting these girls fighting on the stopping to record? These little niggas online, the worst part, lame hoes got a squad. And all they do is dislike the females doing interviews with that nigga blog. I be like, come in, big boy, take off them drawers. I just came from shopping. Let me slip you into something real simple. Know the silk, cause some pretty little clothes, they gon' hang off your balls. Look at you, sitting pretty, yeah. You the type to rock them cute pennies, yeah. Come here, you're cute, yeah. Real cute, you hating on a female, cute, real cute. Why you mad we getting money? Maybe that's why you sag a lot and punish out. Oh, by the way, cute pennies, bro, real cute. Grown man, big boss, taking shots from a penthouse loft, talking trash, she making big calls. Yep, then again, that's only till his phone got off. Again, yeah, his phone got disconnected, but don't worry, he be back online hating in a second. Back at the crib, remember she paid her phone and her rent. Squash a nigga vegetable sauce. Now he souped up in my mix on some vegetable broth. Nigga comment at the comment, you that thirsty, drink vomit. I promise I ain't never seen nobody when had so much time to hate me. Be honest, is you mad at me or the fact that I'm grinding? It's a fact that I'm winning, son. I really be shining. Why you pressed on? You ready to swing on this little bitty girl, so don't tell me I'm lying. Way too many dudes putting hands on the broad. That make you feel like a man. Mishandling a weak vessel, yeah, you saw. Now look, it's way too many dudes only wanna spawn, but ain't got no conversation, only wanna gossip or recall. Why I keep sending these grown dudes out in the broad, they look like some broad. Why I keep sending these dudes, letting these girls fighting, only stopping to recall. These little niggas online, the worst part, lame hoes got a squad, and all they do is this like the females doing interviews with that nigga blood. I be like, big boy, take on them drones. I just came from shopping. Let me slip you in something real soft. You prefer the lace of satin or the silk? Cause some pretty little rolls they gon' hang off your balls. Look at you sitting pretty, yeah. You the type that rock them cute pennies, yeah. Come here, you're cute, yeah. Real cute. You hating on the female, cute, real cute. Why you mad we getting money? Maybe that's why you say let them punish out. Oh, by the way, cute pennies, bro. Real cute.
Welcome back, and thanks so much for joining me tonight on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. I just realized that we did not do the quote of the day. Generally, I save these for Sunday, but since I remembered it, let's go ahead and do this. Do this to this. I've had this book since I was knee-high to a grasshopper, so it's been through a lot. So the thought for today, for August 16th, is a well-adjusted person is one who makes the same mistake twice without getting nervous. Well, you can't get nervous about that. You gotta be more confident. But anywho's, just making sure our sound is going all right. Looks good, looking good, looking good, looking good. I don't know about you, but I really, really love my music breaks. Days make me so happy. Let's get back to our trippy TikToks, shall we? Let's get them over here. We had Mr. Knightley with us last time. Oh my gosh, that guy. Ooh, he's hitting that on the head. Tell you what.
So I'm headed down to Milk Barn this morning. I got a funny story for you. It ain't very long. It's quick.
Oh, okay. Old timey yarner.
Anyway.
Old timey yarner. Ain't got no time.
Lloyd was working on my side-by-side yesterday morning. And I've got some neighbors that moved in a couple years ago from California.
Uh-oh.
And they're odd. I mean, they're real odd. But they've done light, I hope, and they've decided they want to move.
Hopefully you showed them.
To the country and live the country life. And,
yes.
And I'm going to help them as much as I can, and most of the people around here are too. Anyway, me and
that's
working
nice.
on the four-wheel, or my side-by-side, and my neighbor showed up bright and early, probably about 9:30, 10 o'clock. And he come in, talked for a minute, and Dave, he said, I've bought some goats. Would you care to haul them for me? And I said, when do you need them? And he said, I need to get it done sometime today. And I said, well, how many is there? And he said, I bought 25 goats, and I forget what the name of the place was that he said he got them, where he bought them from. Anyway, he told me, he said, Dave, you're covered up, man. You ain't got time to do that. He said, let me go do this for you. He said, I'll do it. And I said, all right. So Lloyd just wipes the grease off his hands and gets in his truck, and that feller follows him. Drops his truck off or his car off at the house, gets in the truck with Lloyd, and away they go. Lloyd goes home, puts the trailer on his truck, goes down, picks up them goats, brings them back, and Lloyd called me this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Said I backed up there to that pen, and was unloading them, and said the man's wife, and he said they just something about her that just didn't look right. And he said, Bud, he said, you know, there's ugly women in the world. And it's his wife, so what do I care? And he said, but Dave, he said, I backed up there and we started unloading them goats. And we were standing there talking after we got them unloaded and pinned up. And he said, got my trailer shut up, and we were talking. And he was getting ready to pay me, and me and that woman and him, and so he said, they said it was their son, said he looked like he's about 28 or 30 years old, standing there talking. And his wife said, I've got to go pee. And Lloyd said, well, ma'am, it's good meeting you. And to my understanding now, this is the way Lloyd told it. She said, well, ma'am, it was good to meet you. And she said, oh, I'll be back in a minute. So she walked over to the barn, unzipped her britches, and started taking a whiz on the side of the barn. Lloyd said, I looked. Said her husband was standing there, and he said, I just kind of just patted him on the shoulder. Said the guy looked at him and said, what? Said he pointed over there where the man's wife was. He said, now this is what he said. Said she's standing there pissing like a stud hoss. And said, Lloyd said, does she always do that? And he said, well, yeah. And he said, I looked at her a minute and looked at him and said, her plumbing ain't right. I'm headed down to Milk Barn this morning.
Scary premonition stories. A premonition is when you see or feel something.
No, it's funny though, because like, I don't know, he could have said something else. Anyways, I like his laugh. It reminds me of my oldest brother, Gary. It's pretty sincere laugh. I like that.
Something is going to happen before it happens. It was November 2006, and I just laid down and taken a nap when I faced one of the scariest premonitions I ever had. I was in a dark hospital. The windows were shattering around me. There was a tornado touching down. People were running and screaming, glass busting, and just chaos. This scared me because I was due to have surgery the next day at the hospital I was dreaming about. I was supposed to be at that hospital at 6 a.m. and be admitted by 7 to have a tubal ligation. I told my ex I just had a night terror from hell. I got a really bad feeling about this. I don't know that I'm going to the hospital, but he was like, baby, we got to. The reason I had to go through with it was because this was the only time the insurance would cover it. The caseworker had told me if I don't show up, Medicaid will not cover this surgery again. There will not be another opportunity, so I better go. So that morning at 5:30, me and my ex get up and get dressed, and a big thunderstorm comes up, and I mean the thunder is booming. It's shaking the whole house, and I start panicking. I said, dude, that damn night terror has got me on the edge. I know something bad is going to happen today. I can feel it. Well, by 6:30, these storms had gotten a lot worse, and now we had tornado watches, but we were now at the hospital. So we're sitting in the waiting room waiting on my name to be called, and I look out the window and see the wind has really picked up again, and walk outside, and everything has turned green. I said, oh shit, we know that's tornado. It's a sign of a tornado. Grandma used to say when the sky turns green, it's about to get mean. You better.
Oh my gosh,
so the
so
hospital
scary.
had the Weather Channel on in the waiting room, and the meteorologist said this is the last storm of the day. When it's over, it's going to clear up and be a gorgeous day. But boy, was he wrong. So I go talk to a nurse and say, look, I don't think I'm going to go through with this. I'm just going to cancel out and do it another day. I'm scared of these storms. She said, honey, the doctor's already here. He's prepping. We got to do this. I said, what if the power goes out? She said, we got generators, and like they said, it's the last storm of the day. Everything's going to be fine. So the nurse gives me a gown. I change, and I sit on the bed, and then she starts trying to put the IV in, but she can't get it. So she tries over and over and hits it. Blood starts spraying out everywhere. I don't know what she did wrong, but as more blood came out, I ended up passing out. I wake up covered in blood. There's blood all over the floor of the bed, everywhere, and someone had closed the IV, but I don't know who because they left me alone in that room. Next thing I know, I hear boom. Boom! It sounded like the power box is out there. Oh my gosh! I'm stuck in this room, can't find the door with the IV and the big metal rod thing it's connected to, dragging it behind me, trying to find the damn door. And I finally found it and got it open. And just like in my dream, I'm now walking down the hospital hallway in the pitch black dark. I can hear running and screaming, the wind blowing, papers flying up in the air, the windows breaking, just like my dream, but a lot worse. And it was all I could think about. My dream, it came true. Then this woman comes out of her room and says, Lily Pad, come here. And I thought, how did she know my name? I dragged that IV into that room. When I got in there, she was gone. I think that was my grandmother trying to protect me. She had passed the year before, and only a select few knew me as Lily Pad from my youth. And then I heard it. The fucking train coming. Everybody knows when a tornado's close by, it sounds just like a damn train. It's so loud.
That's what I heard.
Shaking the whole damn hospital. In that moment, my life started flashing before my eyes. And it wasn't like how everybody else says. This was just one moment from when I was 10 years old. I could see it clear as day. I was at home alone because my mom and dad went somewhere, and we had a really bad thunderstorm. A tornado came through and tore apart the backyard in the swamp. I was a small child sitting in the dark, my hands on my head, rocking back and forth, scared to death, just like I was as an adult in the hospital. And I kept thinking, what a full circle moment. It started this way and it'll end this way. This F3 tornado gets that close to the hospital and barely skims past it, just like it did our house when I was a kid. Within seconds of that tornado trailing off, power came back on, so I snatched the IV out and I took off running. So I find my partner and him and the babies are okay. And then things start to calm down within the hour, and the nurses and doctors start putting everything back together. So they put me on a stretcher to move me from this room to the surgery room. As we're walking by the ambulance section, this ambulance pulls up, and people, EMTs, start jumping out, and they tell the nurses who are pushing my bed to come help them. It was a man and his 2 kids. The tornado hit their trailer earlier that morning while they were getting ready for work and school before it hit our area, and they were just now getting to the hospital. So we're stopped there, and all these nurses and doctors are working on this other child. The one had already died, but they were still performing life-saving measures on this one, and unfortunately they couldn't revive that one either. They pulled those 2 little kids as stretchers right up beside of me. They didn't have their faces covered or nothing. Like, I just looked at them like, oh my God, these poor babies. They were cut up bad. I just started crying because just 2 little babies, 6, 7 years old, up that morning getting ready for school, probably eating cereal, playing with their toys, and then they're gone. And this poor woman, I don't know who she was, but she was bawling her eyes out. I guess it was her family. She was just all to hell, of course. At that moment, I did not want to go through with this surgery. I felt like the tornado, everything was just an omen. It was telling me, do not get this surgery. Like, my anxiety was peaking. Like, I was scared to death. Something's going to happen. There's going to be another tornado. Power's going to go out. They're going to kill me. Something's going to happen. This wasn't an anxiety attack. This was a full-blown, let me out of here. I'm leaving attack. I don't want to do this. Nurses all had to come grab me, pull me down, hold me down, and be like, it's okay, take a breath, calm down. We're going to give you something to calm you down. But they went ahead and gave me the medicine and knocked me out, and when I woke up, the surgery was over with. So afterwards, I wake up to a nurse saying, hey, breathe, wake up, breathe. When I turn my head to the right and I open my eyes, the big letters are blurry, but I can see them. It says morgue. As soon as I saw that word, I fucking freaked out. She said, what are you doing down here? I don't know. You tell me. I just woke up. I couldn't really talk to this nurse. She said, I think somebody got confused and they brought you down here to the morgue instead of to recovery.
You're
fired.
fired.
How does that even happen? Somebody had literally pushed me on a stretcher with the IV rod, the bag and everything, down to the morgue and left me outside the doors. Crazy. While she's asking me all these questions, this man comes out of the morgue and he opens the 2 doors, and I can see the 2 little kids laying on the table. So that same nurse grabbed the stretcher and started pushing me back to the recovery room. And when we walked in, she said, hey, I found one of your patients. She was down there at the morgue. She said, who the hell took her down there? And the other nurse said, I don't know, but with everything going on, there's no telling. So because this was an outpatient surgery, I was allowed to leave not long after the surgery was done. So I get to the car and I tell my ex, please just take me home. I can't take no more mentally. That tornado was an F3. It killed 4 people and injured many others, and it was devastating. That was one hell of a day, and I wish I would have just listened to my gut and stayed the hell home. I'd been a lot safer and less traumatized had I listened. These premonitions or woman's intuition has happened to me all throughout my life. Every time I've ignored that gut feeling, something bad happened to me. So always listen to your gut. Scary premonition stories. A premonition is when you see or feel something is going to happen before it happens.
Oh, I'm on
it was November
wrong
2006,
page.
and I just laid down and taken.
And I just have to agree with her, no matter what, trust your gut. Your gut will never lead you astray. Like, the heart wants what the heart wants. The mind overthinks things. Listen to your gut. And people are like, I got a real big gut. Yeah, you might, but it's in here. Not here, but down below. And sometimes if you don't listen to it, you'll get that sick feeling, that awful sick feeling. You gotta listen to your gut. Your gut will never lead you astray. Your mind overthinks shit. Your heart wants what the heart wants. Listen to your gut, please, because it's so important. So damn importante. Indeed. But I love this girl, Ms. Lily's story. Lily's story time, but I think it's Lily, but is it Lily? I thought she said Lily. I don't know.
This video is not for every woman.
Hey, if there's no oxygen in space, then how's the sun still burning? We know the speed of light, but what's the speed of dark? When butterflies fall in love, what do they feel in their stomachs? Butterflies. What the If the sun's in space, then why is it dark in space? The sun's... Do you think dogs at the moon because it's a ball they can't reach? It's a ball they can't. Hey, you. How long would it take for a giraffe to throw up?
If you believe the Earth is a globe, then you are lost in the Matrix.
Okay, first of all, I need to know, why are you wearing gloves, and are you up to murder, death, killing me? Okay, let's continue.
And have fell for their programming. How can the sun have a radius of 432,000 miles, yet every
Is that your
sunset
finger?
and every midday, the sun's size changes dramatically? If the sun was truly that large, then it would not change so dramatically. Sun is a local entity, and this is exactly how it works. North is the center of the Earth. This is the most magnetic point of the Earth's electromagnetic field. This is why we call it the North Pole, because it is literally a pole of electromagnetic energy. The sun and the moon rotate around the magnetic North Pole. All compasses point to the most magnetic point. South is anywhere out from the center. East is right turning around the center. If I'm here and I go east, I would end up in the exact same position. West is the opposite. It is left around the center. If I am here and I go west, I would do a full circle and end up in the same position. Now this is how we have the 4 seasons. There are 3 tropics: the Tropic of Capricorn, the Equator, the middle line, and the Tropic of Cancer. The sun does a big spiral and then spirals in towards the center and then spirals back out to do another big spiral.
Okay. Oh, I
For
see.
example, the Tropic of Cancer is the northern people in the northern lands. When the sun is in the small ring, this is now the summertime for the northern people. Then it will slowly spiral out to the equator, which is Libra, and it will spiral out to the Tropic of Capricorn. This is now the winter time when the sun is in this spiral for the northern people. Then it will spiral back into the equator and spiral back into Cancer, creating the summertime again. And it will just repeat this big spiral and small spiral.
Wow.
The sun does not truly set. It moves across a flat plane and only sets due to your human vision and perspective.
Okay, so when he said that, of course it doesn't. It does for us in a certain plane on this earth, but not for everyone. The sun is there for somebody else. The sun never sleeps, neither does the moon. Until it goes dark, I guess, but... Anyways.
If you believe the earth is a globe, then you are lost in the matrix.
You've been told the Bible is all about one God. Well, that's wrong.
When Globers debunk the globe, you know.
Globers are debunking the globe? See, man. Okay, let's see what he gonna say. July 8th.
On July 8th, when 99% of the world's population is in sunlight and it's impossible on the globe. Check this out.
They have a little opening chat before Dave moves on to what he's calling the impossible day. Let's get into it.
So let's get into the 70% of the Earth. So this is a graphic from the Weather Channel. You can't light a ball up like this. The line should be halfway.
I can't even see
Shouldn't
anything.
light up more. That's game over right there. We're not a globe.
Of course, what Dave is failing to realise here is that on this image he's showing, they are just leaning the globe towards the audience to show how much of it is lit. You can't see the Terminator line on the other side,
You're lit.
so you can't claim how much of it is lit up.
How can you say they're only showing one side when literally both sides? It's flipped. I know because he got it from this animation from the Weather Channel, and it clearly shows way more than 70% of the entire globe has to be lit in order for this to happen.
By the way, I'm not sure where you're getting this 70% thing from. The graphic on the screen clearly says 99%, which is of course the global population on that day in daylight and twilight, not surface area of the globe.
Well, where we get 75% is because it is physically impossible to light the globe 50% and get 99% of the world's population in that sunlight. Google's AI says it would be approximately 86% of the globe covered in light in order to get 99% of the population. And ChatGPT, what do you say?
On July 8th, because most people live in the Northern Hemisphere, the majority of the world's population is in daylight. For that to happen, all continents except Australia need to be in sunlight at the same time, which means that about 70% of the Earth's surface is illuminated. This alignment ensures that nearly everyone is in daylight at once.
Well, there you have it. Well, Google and ChatGPT can't really agree on the percentage exactly, but they both agree that it's more than 50%.
No, it's not. Only 50%, or very slightly over due to refraction, will ever be lit up. Never 70%. Like you say, that's not possible on a ball. And again, it's not 99% of the world. It's 99% of the population, as it clearly says on screen.
Okay, Simon Dan, I'm glad you said that. Now remember you said that because I'm going to hold you to it. Oh, and real quick, just in case you miss it, here it is demonstrated on the flat earth model. There's all the sunlight where it needs to be.
Now let's look at it on a globe. So here we have a globe set up at its 66.6 degree tilt. We have a sun on the other side of the garage. Now here that pink is Australia. We're going to put Australia right in the dark, just like it is. And then we're going to run around to the other side and we're going to take a look. And Houston, we have a problem. All of South America is in the dark.
Now, at first glance, this looks awful for the globe, but if you have a look at their setup, you can see why it's wrong. They have the tilt of Earth as if it's the summer solstice, June the 21st, but the date on their map they just looked at was August the 13th. I'll mock it up with my globe in the correct position so you can see how it works.
Oh, okay, so we might be wrong. All right, Simon Dan, educate us. Show us on the globe how it works.
Right, so you can see here that I have the globe set up off center. So this here would be the summer solstice, but I've got it now set up here, so this is sort of August time. You can see clearly that the US coastline is just in the dusk there, as per the diagram. And if you come around here, we can see that China is in sunlight and dusk.
Yes.
So it
And then
is possible to do on a globe.
As I said, completely plausible on a globe.
Simon Dan, you have on screen half of China and Russia in the dark.
You know the Bible is all about one.
I love when Globers debunk.
Hold on.
We can see that China is in sunlight and dusk. So it absolutely is possible to do on a globe.
As I said, completely plausible on a globe.
Simon Dan, you have on screen half of China and Russia in the dark. Here's your Terminator line, and look at all of this land in the dark. How do you show your people this with honesty and integrity? They're looking at this. And you're calling this a debunk video? Not to mention that you have Eastern China completely in the dark, which is 94% of their entire population lives in that region that was in the dark. This is why I believe this battle is 100% spiritual, because here he tries to demonstrate why we are wrong, and he shows exactly why this is impossible and how it cannot happen. I love when Globers...
They thought they could keep this a secret?
No!
Well, I caught their hands in the cookie jar. Do you know who this secret group is? You have no idea. But if you think you know, comment who they are below, but don't cheat. While you're guessing, let me give you some hints. They forced a prime minister out of power. His crime? Believing his own country should own its own oil. Who is
How dare you?
This group? A foreign oil cartel. Nigeria didn't want to give up their oil. Villages burned. Manufactured civil war. But their oil profits soared. When scientists warned, all of this oil production taken from the earth, polluting the skies, is going to destroy our planet. They didn't just deny it. They funded fake scientists, paid your government officials to make sure that you didn't go to renewable energy so that countries could keep buying their oil. They don't want a better world, they want a dependent one. When propaganda failed, they used war on Iraq, war on Libya, Syria,
War on anyone.
blood for barrels. Some of y'all are like, nah, that's just capitalism. Wrong. This was planned. An ultra-rich group of men came together with one mission: control the planet, control its fuel, and control its future. They weren't elect, they weren't divine, but they acted like gods. Who are they? John D. Rockefeller, are you surprised? J. Paul Getty created a Saudi oil empire. Marcus Samuel, Shell Gas Company. Walter Teagle, Exxon's oil baron with intel ties. In other words, the CIA. They weren't just rich, they were strategic.
The
One of them
CIA?
created the plan. Each brought value to the plan, and they shared the profits together. Their joint company's cartel was called the Seven Sisters. An oil cartel so powerful it controlled 90% of the global reserves.
That's
Exxon,
right.
Shell, BP, Chevron, Mobil, Texaco.
You know the
Gulf.
names.
But
You know the
behind them
names.
were the men who shaped your world, dictated global politics, rewrote national borders, engineered inequality. Here's my question to you. Why don't conscious people come together like this? They use that power to dominate. What if we use that same model to hit instead of harm? We're doing it. This is a new movement called the Architects. I am pulling together a team. The world's most powerful people build infrastructure together. Now it's your turn. It's our turn. We're talking about a group of people. It's only going to be 100 people in there. We're going to be traveling the world. I'm about to go to Alaska. Getting
How we
on
gonna do
big
that?
stages to spread good messages for the world. I'm about to do that on my TED Talk. I'm going to be growing everybody's following. I have over 600,000 followers. Could you imagine having a group of people you could depend on, a network of people putting their funds together to change the world? Traveling the world together, going to ancient rooms, going to actual teachers in person, educating their children together? Are you in? Message me movement or architects if you are.
Oh my
They
lord.
met in secret. We meet in light. They plan centuries of control. We're planning generations of regeneration. The Seven Sisters changed the world. Now it's our turn. I love you all. Peace.
That blows my mind too. Okay, the Seven Sisters. What is that? For me, as far as my livelihood, when I was a baby, I got a really bad case of thrush. And then my mom took me to a seventh son of a seventh son. At the time, we lived in Appalachian America. And yeah, my dad, being born and raised LDS, did not agree with it. But he still went with my mom because my mom was most powerful. Anyways, I think this is a big reason I have a phobia of spit. Because this person, I don't even know how I found this out, but he took me up, he said something, he spit in my mouth. And then gave me back to my mom, and my mom took me home, and then after that, I no longer had thrush, which is like a yeast infection in my mouth. How did that happen? Well, my mom has a lot of yeast on her body. Me being her daughter, I also have a lot of yeast on my body, so I'm quite buttery, I might say. My eldest daughter did get thrush. My other kids, my other three, did not. I don't know why, but maybe perhaps because it's my first and untreated, etc., etc. I didn't even treat it. I don't know, but anyways. 7 daughters? This to me is something new. The seventh son of the seventh son I've heard of for years. 7 daughters, I am intrigued. I must tell you, I am quite intrigued. Let's get back in it.
Hello friends, are you ready for the most important UFO video you've ever seen? Well, buckle up, this is a wild one. So, I do believe that most of the UFOs that we see are actually bodies, very similar to the human body, but designed for interstellar and interdimensional
Like
travel.
biological
as opposed to the human
bodies.
body, which is designed for earthly travel. But like the human body, they are made specifically for a particular consciousness, for that non-physical consciousness to inhabit that physical craft to do things that the non-physical consciousness can't normally do. Okay, now let's look at this through the soul sync lens. That our physical body, our physical avatar, is a vehicle for our non-physical consciousness to enter into to traverse this physical world here. We have our 5 senses, And it's like a VR headset for our soul. Our consciousness jacks into this body, and it can come down here and have this amazing physical experience in this physical world. It couldn't do that without this physical body. It could exist disembodied, which would appear as a glowing light orb, and we do see those, but those can't have the same experience as a physical body. They can't know love. They can't know hurt. They can't know what it's like to eat chocolate or to walk on a beach. They can't do these things. That's why you come into the physical body to have this very particular physical
experiences. Yes.
But the physical body is just a vehicle that is made for consciousness.
It's a vessel.
Okay, now let's look at these UFO. What do we see? We see craft that are explained by experiencers and insiders as being organic, as being
your camera's amazing these days,
conscious, and needing a consciousness to act as the pilot. It's very similar to the human body. The human body has a level of sentience and awareness and even a spectrum of consciousness. It can exist on its own. When you go into an out-of-body state, the body still goes on. But it needs that higher self, that higher connected consciousness that's connected to source to really animate it and bring it to life. That's what the higher self mixed with the human self, that synchronization is what I call soul sync. I talk at length about that. So that same framework there, we're going to apply that to UFOs. So say you are a consciousness and you want to traverse the cosmos, right? Go in between all the physical worlds and between the non-physical dimensions. How would you do that? Well, you wouldn't build a physical craft. That doesn't make any sense. Like, you wouldn't just go into a factory and make a UFO, because that UFO might work fine in the physical matter reality that you build it in, but once you leave that bubble, everything changes. The laws of physics, laws of nature are different throughout the universe, and especially when you go from physical to non-physical. So you would need a type of a craft that can change and morph and evolve with the surroundings that it's in. This is what we see with UFOs. When people see them from a distance, they say they look metallic, silvery, right? And then when they see them up close, this has been reported by many experiencers, they seem organic. Sometimes they even say that they seem to be in pain, or they seem to be sad. They have feeling and emotion.
Yeah.
When they touch them, they say it feels more like a dolphin than, metallic. And a lot of like insects and fish and stuff like that have this sort of kind of almost like metallic looking armor plating, but they're not metallic, they're
like a June bug.
And that's what these craft seem to be like. And when people go into the craft, they say it's more like dreamlike. When you're in the craft, the inside's different than the outside. Like, the craft on the outside might be 30 or 40 feet, and then you get inside and it's like the size of a football field, and there's, endless hallways and all sorts of things that don't make any sense. Time dilation, and there's no, edges. There's no, everything is very organic and molded. It looks like it was like grown, not assembled. And they talk about how when you're inside these things, everything, there's like a knowing, and you speak telepathically, and things change with your consciousness. Well, if you think about the inside of a being as opposed to the outside, like, look at me, okay? I'm just a normal sized dude. I'm 5'10", $170.
Yeah,
like
I can see that.
And if you were to go inside me, right?
Thank you.
Dirty, but if you were to go inside me,
hey, you can't help it.
It's like the universe, right? Think about, there's trillions of cells and all the different synapses and neurons firing and all the electrical waves going through my body and all the stuff happening inside every body. There's like a universe inside your body. So the inside of you,
how do I not
different
make
than
this
the outside of
dirty?
you. The inside of you is like a universe. The outside of you just looks like a regular being. Well, look at these vehicles, these craft. When people go inside of them, they say it's completely different on the inside than the outside. That's exactly what you would see if it was a biological craft that was made in the same way that our biological body's made, as a vehicle for consciousness. Okay, let's take it a step further. People report seeing grays on these craft, and the grays seem to be these like automatons piloting the craft. And then there's like a lot of times the craft will go back up to a larger craft where there will be like Nordic beings or mantis beings that seem to be over in the hierarchy above the grays. And in this case, what it seems like is happening is the grays are like a drone, like an artificial surrogate pilot for these craft. So if you imagine the craft is made for a specific consciousness, the same way your body is made for your consciousness, right? There's a link there, a synchronization there. They're made for each other, like a lock and a key. Well, if these craft are made in the same way, where a craft is made for a specific consciousness, but then somebody else wants to pilot that craft, that's not that original consciousness, maybe you use a gray as like a surrogate, as a stand-in drone pilot. And that's what it seems like these things are doing. It seems like beings like the Mantis and the Nordics use the Greys as little drones, and those Greys can actually pilot these craft.
What up, little
okay,
bee?
Now that's all fine and dandy. You following me? Because it gets even weirder. Okay,
yeah.
So now we have something called these psionic teams, and these, like Skywatcher and Jake Barber and his crew, and they're doing these things where they are like summoning these craft, right? They're basically like getting a meditative state, and they're using like focused intention to make contact with these craft and actually like bring them down, which is pretty unethical, and I don't know why they would do that, but this is what they're doing. And it's one thing to make contact and like say, hi, Flash, if you hear me, oh, that was nice, love you, right? And that's what we do. But to like actually try to crash these things, whatever, it's another video.
Yeah.
But how can my theory of UFOs explain what they're doing? Well, it actually makes a lot of sense, because if you think about it this way, these craft are not made like in a factory, like in this materialist mindset, like we like to, clump everything into. It's different. So if these craft exist in this sort of meta material, format where they're not really physical and they're not non-physical, kind of like our body. If you think about it, we like to think of ourselves as physical, but then when you drill down into the atomic level of a human or of anything, it just turns into like vortices of energy and probability distribution fields. There's not really any physical matter there. So we're physical and non-physical too. But these craft are very physical and non-physical, because they have a deeper understanding of how the universe works, and they can morph from physical to non-physical. So when they're in, like, say, our atmosphere, or they're observing our planet or doing what they're doing, and then our psionics guys make contact with them and pull them in with their Jedi mind tricks, and then summon them down and actually pull them down to the density of our physical world, well, then our laws of nature and our laws of physics, the rule sets that govern this physical matter reality here, start applying to these metaphysical craft. And then they're sort of spontaneously 3D printed into our reality. They become fully material, and that's not what they're designed to do, and that's why they crash, and that's why when we find them, they don't make any sense. Like they find these things, they're like, all right, let's reverse engineer it and make weapons, dude. Wouldn't that be awesome? And then they put these things in hangars for freaking 80 years, and they still have no freaking
You never know,
because
dude.
they're looking at this thing all wrong. These aren't physical craft that were made in some physical factory on some planet in Zeta Reticuli and flew here. That's an insane way to think about reality.
Deer flew here.
When they're bringing these things down into the thickness and density of our reality, they're not made for that. They materialize, and they can't take the density, they can't take the heat and everything. That this place is not what they're made for. So they crash, or they morph into some anomalous shape or some egg type shape or something like that, and they just crash, and then we pick them up. We don't know what to do with them. But I think that we're looking at UFOs all wrong, obviously, because 100 years on and we have no idea what we're talking about. So
even more than that, brother.
The same way the human body
even more than
is
that.
a vehicle for consciousness. It's a vessel for consciousness. I think these craft are vessels and vehicles for consciousness as well. But instead of making like the human body specifically for this planet, where we can climb trees and walk on beaches, like we're made pretty well, suited for this planet for the most part. These craft are made for a completely different purpose. To travel the cosmos, travel time, travel dimensions.
That's right, brother.
And to do it with a consciousness as the pilot. And I think the question we need to be asking is not where these craft come from, but where is the host consciousness? Because that host consciousness is piloting these craft. I have my theories. I would like to know yours. Let me know in the comments below. Have a beautiful day. Peace.
Peace.
Hello, friends.
Want to hear a story? This story is going to take us to Mars
girl.
Bluff, South Carolina. The little community of Mars Bluff is one of the oldest communities in Florence County. And before the establishment of the city of Florence, Mars Bluff was also its main town. But after the railroad came through, it became little more than a small tobacco farming community. A very quiet, peaceful place where not much really ever happened. Until the afternoon of March 11th, 1958. This was during the Cold War, and there was a rising fear of a nuclear attack from the Soviet Union. So the U.S. Air Force routinely practiced simulated bomb drops in order to determine their accuracy. One such practice mission was Operation Snow Flurry. And on that day, these three men, Captain Charles Woodruff, Captain...
I have a question. Is it full of snowflakes?
Bruce Kolka, and Captain Earl Kohler, boarded their plane, a B-47 aircraft that was equipped with a 26-kiloton Mark 6 nuclear bomb. Their scheduled route would take them from the Hunter Air Force Base in Savannah, Georgia, to Canada, then to the UK, and finally to North Africa before its return. Before they left, the crew struggled a bit to lock the Mk6 into the bomb bay. But finally, after hammering the steel lock pin into place, the three men boarded their Stratojet and they lifted off from the airfield at 3:53 p.m. It was a lovely spring day back in Mars Bluff, and there the Gregg family were enjoying their afternoon. Walter Gregg was in his workshop behind the family home and was working on mending a bench. His wife Effie was getting some sewing done in the house, while their three children, 9-year-old Helen and 6-year-old twins Walter Jr. and Francis, were playing outside with their 9-year-old cousin Ella. The four children were romping around the yard and running back and forth from the girls' playhouse, which was nestled in the woods behind the house. At the same time, overhead, Captain Woodruff, the co-pilot, noticed that a light had come on, indicating that the locking pin of the bomb harness was not engaged. So Bruce Kulka, the navigator of the flight, crawled into the space beneath the bomb to inspect the locking mechanism, but he couldn't quite reach it. As he attempted to hoist himself up above the bomb and come at it from a different angle, he accidentally grabbed and pulled the emergency release pin, and the 7,600-pound bomb broke through the bay doors and fell. On the ground, the three little girls emerged from the woods, giggling, and they ran back towards the house, and little Walter Jr. burst into his father's workshop, just as Walter Gregg lifted his head at the sound of an aircraft flying kind of low above them. It was right around 4:20 p.m. when that bomb hit, only roughly 100 yards from the Gregg's home, right on top of their garden, and very close to the girls' playhouse. This is the playhouse, and this is where the bomb landed. Their house had been shifted off its foundation, and a few walls collapsed. The workshop was heavily damaged, and though the entire family had been blown off their feet, all 6 of them miraculously survived. Walter Gregg had a deep gash on one arm and had some broken ribs from being struck by some of the boards from the workshop. And Effie came crawling out from beneath the rubble of the house. She had a deep cut behind one ear which required stitches, but she was otherwise okay. Somehow the 3 Gregg children only received minor cuts and scrapes. However, Walter's niece, Ellie, she got the worst of it. She had a deep gash across her forehead and had some internal bleeding that required her to stay overnight at the hospital. But she too made a full recovery, and the smoke finally cleared. There was a 25-foot deep and 75 feet wide crater left behind. All of the trees around it had been flattened, and bomb fragments littered the area. And all that was left of that playhouse that the girls had been playing in only minutes before the bomb fell were tiny little slivers of its metal roof. The blast also totaled both of the Gregg family cars and was strong enough that it spun a car around that had been driving nearby along Highway 301. It also damaged other nearby homes, and Florence County employees heard the explosion from 8 miles away. It's also said that they could see the cloud of smoke and debris from the Florence County courthouse. Oh, yeah. Everyone agreed it was an absolute miracle of God that no one was killed. But that was little consolation for the Gregg children, who were unable to find their kitten after the explosion. They were devastated. But then, nearly 24 hours after the blast, a second miracle occurred. Their little kitten Mitzi was pulled from the rubble, scared but unharmed. When the bomb hit, the shockwave jostled the plane. The crew screamed into their radios, "Broken arrow, broken arrow." The code phrase.
I love that movie.
An unexpected event involving a nuclear device. The plane had also been loaded with an excess of fuel, which it needed for its long journey, but which also rendered it unsafe to land. So the 3 men could do nothing but circle helplessly for 2 hours until they burned off enough fuel to land the aircraft safely. When it was finally able to land, the 3 men were met with armed Air Force police, who promptly relieved them of their weapons and escorted them into a holding room on base, where they were not permitted to leave or contact their families until this incident was investigated. The fear was that one or more of the men may have been in bed with the Soviets and had dropped that bomb on purpose. That, however, did not turn out to be the case. It was just a terrible accident. And after some intense questioning, the squad was released, but they were quickly reassigned to bases overseas and bustled out of the country.
Oh, that it was an accident. Yes, I accidentally fell upon a...
While the military swooped in for some damage control. Within a few hours, the Air Force had established a 2-mile perimeter around the crater and quickly announced that the warhead had been unarmed and there was no threat of radioactive contamination. They stated that the nuclear core had not been equipped on the bomb. The damage had come from the few thousand pounds of explosives already in it. and that if that core had been installed, that it would have wiped out everything in a 5-mile radius and caused widespread radiation poisoning. However, they did admit that there was some remote danger of nuclear contamination from the explosion scattering nuclear material, and they seemed very concerned about all the bomb fragments that were scattered all over the area. When the Air Force found out that there were people in the community that had picked up some of the bomb pieces for keepsakes, they made an announcement that all fragments should be turned into the local authorities immediately. And for the next 25 years, military aircraft routinely surveyed the property of the Gregg family farm, checking radiation levels. As for the Greggs, while their survival was deemed nothing less than miraculous, they lost everything. Their house was destroyed. All of their belongings had been confiscated by the Air Force, and they'd been left with not much more than the clothes on their back.
Okay, sister, you're talking about that. Okay, let's talk about nuclear blasts. Okay, do you guys remember where they have houses set up and it's a house with windows and you look inside and there's the family and they're just like, oh, we're about to have a little lunch, and then all of a sudden, you know, the big ass mushroom comes out and it's an explosion and it goes all directions. All of a sudden, you see a house. Then all of a sudden, you see a house with a car pulled out behind it. Like, these things are not true. These things are freaking fictitious, and I don't know, talking about it makes me feel kind of funny inside because I just want people to agree with me, but at the same time, I saw what I saw, and these nuclear blasts that are filmed, how come everything around the camera is fucked up, but the camera's okay? You know, there's different things like that, but anywho, let's keep on going because we're about to go to music break.
While they did receive some assistance from the Red Cross, they were now homeless. They were offered a small
settlement,
sad, but it wasn't nearly enough to rebuild their home, and they ended up having to leave what was left of their little farm that had been in their family for
it looks a lot like that house,
years.
But it was bigger.
They relocated to Florence, and despite the offered settlement, they received no compensation for their losses until years later when Walter Gregg sued the U.S. government and won. He was rewarded a...
Because guess what? The government ain't gonna come out and be like, here, we did you wrong. Take this. No. You need to stand up on your own feet or knees or whatever it may be and take what's yours.
Measly $36,000 for the U.S. Air Force dropping an atomic bomb in his backyard. But during the cruise time overseas, each of the 3 captains, independently of each other, wrote letters of apology to the Gregg family. And Walter Gregg not only forgave them, but he also formed a friendship with these men. They all kept in touch for the remainder of their lives.
Good.
First it's been pals, and later, when the 3 were allowed back into the country, they came knocking on Walter Gregg's door. It is wild as this story already is. What these men told him is even crazier. One of them allegedly informed him that they informed the base in their distress call that they had lost hot cargo. They said that the nuclear warhead...
Okay, so they said that. Guess what? That wouldn't be the first time. We have at least 1, 2, 3 different nuclear bombs, aka devices, missing accidentally or whatever may be from the government. One is in a swampland, one is in the ocean, and the other one is where? I don't know. But yeah, our government, oh my gosh. Please don't depend on them.
And for whatever reason, it just didn't detonate. They told him that the low levels of uranium that was detected around the crater was actually much higher than reported and didn't come from scattered nuclear materials. It came from the leaking plutonium core, a completely different story than the one put out by our military. I found this to be very interesting and alarming, since there were several witnesses that called into the authorities after the explosion, describing a mushroom cloud. But before anyone gets too freaked out, the official story still stands, that the bomb had not been armed when it was accidentally dropped. But it does make you wonder. With time, the Gregg's property sold, and it's passed hands a few times. And on the 50th anniversary of the accident, exhibits were set up around the crater, and a historical marker was put up on Highway 301. It sits a few hundred yards from the actual crater. There is still a display that holds some historical information. There's a small viewing platform by the crater, and a large life-sized cutout of the bomb. But the site has become overgrown and hard to reach, and it is on private property. It actually looks like it's just right in someone's backyard, but it is still there. A stark reminder of the day that the U.S. military dropped a nuclear bomb on U.S. soil. Want to hear a story? This story is going
Yes, and that is not the first time, I must say. Like, okay, so over here in New Mexico and other places, like the Sands, etc., that's where atomic bombs were dropped repeatedly. But as far as being like, oh, nobody ever expected this to be a property like this, like a property that I played hide and go seek on, which was my Aunt Janie and my Uncle Melvin's place, came back years later, and all of a sudden, there's Civil War stones, like headstones there in the yard, right when you're pulling up. They were never shown. It was always like a bush or something. We never saw them. But then, years later, last time I went up there to Arkansas to go visit my mom and my cousins and my uncles, etc., etc. Sorry, my hair is all wild, willy-nilly. Anyways. Oh my gosh, Becky. There were gravestones there. There were graves there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 7 from the Civil War. One of the major experiences we had were the Civil War grounds in not Springdale. I want to say Springdale. It might be, because there's Fayetteville, Springdale, and what is the other one? I think it might have been like outskirts of Springdale, not like in interior Springdale, but anyways. Oh my goodness, that was the most amazing paranormal experience that we had. My daughter saw this man in khakis. Just like, it was like a khaki colored uniform, and he saw me and then he ran up the stairs. And then there was a lot of other things that happened, but come to find out, it could have been like a general running up the stairs of his house, which was not really his original house. It was a duplicate. But anyways, boys and girls, let us renege and get away from this, which we are speaking of, and go to our original platform where, on this music break, we have Griff with my favorite song, Let Freedom Ring. Griff is from Toronto, Canada. We have Tamara Bubble from the greater New York area with I'm It, Natural Born Winner, and Pringles. Hey, you can't have just one. And then Griff again with Zoo, and there is one more. I'm going to have to pull that back up because one might have accidentally erased it. But anyways, you guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this music break.
Okay, yo, here's the scoop. You can still be a slave, you're whipped and loop. That's the truth. Got big houses, nice cars. That's real cute, but that doesn't mean nothing. You ain't free to choose. When I say free to choose, no alarm clock, don't gotta hit the snooze. The world is backwards, I'm so confused. They say freedom of speech, but when you speak your mind, they blow a fuse. Just being honest, common sense and common. It's kind of ironic. My freedom, I recently bought it. Now I'm a target. If I do the wrong thing or say the wrong thing, come on, man. Let freedom ring. Yeah. United States become divided states. The world is filled with all kinds of shades, and still resegregate. Parents separate from the children, that's not okay. We should be free to laugh and play. Do it now, before you pass away. Fight for what's right, enough for everybody to get a piece of the pie. Brainwash, social media, full of lies. Go to work, pay bills, then you die. Need a breakaway, guns, get rid of the AKs. Our ancestors paved way since the slave days, but we still hurting. Carry that burden. Stop
playing victim. Beat the system, love is love, it should be shown. Can't grow unless you leave your comfort zone. This I know, I learned all this from the mentorship. Kids don't know what independent is. Take advantage what your parents did. Go against the grid, you have to. Like going to the bathroom, learn the right songs. Cause of Matthew, liberty like statue. They call now the present, cause it's a gift. It should be cherished, last name fearless, not Harris. All thanks to my parents' parents. Now, love the last name every time that I hear it. Cause I know what it represents. Climb the fence, so now I got freedom. Such a beautiful thing. Freedom. Such a wonderful thing. Freedom. Such a beautiful thing. Freedom. Such a wonderful thing.
Just make hits. You won't do all that posting naked pics for likes, and I ain't make this up. I can't fake this. Seeing it, loving it, feeling it, breathing it. Saying it, doing it, running it, barely. I'm a natural winner. I'm the one that you invite to meet your parents for dinner. Cause I can take a couple L's and I'ma bounce right back. Just so you and all your friends can hit the bounce like that. Cause I'm seeing it, loving it, feeling it, breathing it. I'm a natural winner. I'm the one that you invite to meet your parents for dinner. Cause I can take a couple L's and I'ma bounce right back. Just so you and all your friends can hit the bounce like that. Cause I'm a lover and a fighter and a giver and a pleasure and pain and boss deliver it out. Yet I make this look real easy. Everybody hate Chris, but I'ma win like breezy. But I started later on the way to the top and can't stop, so don't push not one button on this elevator. They try to push my buttons to start levitating. Rise above it all, I can tell that you fake when you're shaking my hand, and the smile on your face shows me even you're greeting and meeting and love is hating. I'm actually amazing, but modestly saying I ain't waiting for cosigns or playlists. Cause I ain't nowhere close to my greatness. I don't do all that boasting, just make hits. Yo, I don't do all that posting naked pics for likes, and I ain't make this up, I can't fake this. Seeing it, loving it, feeling it, breathing it. Saying it, doing it, running it, barely. I'm a natural winner. I'm the one that you invite to meet your parents for dinner. Cause I can take a couple L's and I'ma bounce right back. Just so you and all your friends can hit the bounce like that. Cause I'm feeling it, breathing it. Saying it, doing it, running it, being lit. I'm a natural born winner. I'm the one that you invite to meet your parents for dinner. Cause I can take a couple L's and I'ma bounce right back. Just so you and all your friends can hit the bounce like that. Cause I'm the one you gon' call when you're lonely. I'm the new girl on the block, you gon' show off to your homies. I'm telling you now, we gon' vibe in the booth. How you crave another feature like I'm your sweet tooth. All my people wanna see me shine, but I don't pray for you to fall, cause I don't play with karma. When I slide through, it's gon' be bad timing. Like, watch out, little homie, watch out. I'm
but you can't read. Know that you're mad, but you can't read. Know that you're mad, but you can't leave. You can't leave. You're right where you wanna be. That is right here with me. You're right where you wanna be. Right with me. You can be anything you want. If that's what you really want. You can be anything you want. All I want to do right now is leave you soon. All I wanna do. All I want to do right now is leave you soon. For God, I'm wasting time. Not trying to lose my mind. Know that I am wasting time. Not trying to lose my mind. If you want to get left behind in this rat race, go back to my place where I know it's safe. Lock myself in my room. Won't watch the news, cause it is so confused. What can I do if I lose you? All I want to do right now is leave you soon. All I wanna do. All I want to do right now is leave you soon. Okay. She was a loompa loompa, now her body super duper. Getting a lot of attention she was never used to. Hitting me up like I was Uber. Got a few miles, so I guess she's a cougar. Real winner, never seen her with a loser. Gorilla talk, ooga booga booga. Scuba, duba, diver, I'm a rider. Getting cider, sweet like cider. Fighter, rider. Neither wants to get it going. Know it, hold it, fold it, blow it. Wait, I'm joking. Cages broken from these beasts. From down east on the streets, it's a zoo. All I want to do right now is leave you soon. All I wanna do. All I want to do right now is leave you soon. For good.
Oh, yeah.
been poppin', we been poppin' like
Pringles in the can. All the money really got me dancing. Pringles in the whip. I be taking the whip. Pringles in the can. All the money really got me dancing. Big baby money grip. I be taking them chips. Pringles in the can. All the money really got me dancing. Pringles in the whip. I be taking them chips like Pringles in the can. All the money really got me dancing. Big baby money grip. I be taking them. I ain't never been afraid of a strange beat. New track from the crates, but the same me. Lights on, bills paid, bring the same heat. Couldn't picture me spend the same unless you bring me. Low key, humble brag, never change me. New money coming in, the bank's changing. The quarters to dollars to checks every hour. That money come in when I sleep or I shower. That's motivation, that dedication. I can see my dreams, I'm already chasing. That bezel clean, watch me embrace it. I'm a single girl that already taken like a stick-up kid. They already shaking. No Harlem, Brooklyn, being known for break-ins. Bubble on deck, being known for caking. Stacking and saving and move up after hood money. This that we been eating good money. This that really wish you would, homie. This that see you laughing but broken funny. So get up out the hood, homie. Ain't no rentals over here, dummy. And no, they don't really think that we own it. Who we been poppin', look on. Yeah, they real, so yeah, the money with my own girl. Move up out the hood money. This that we been eating good money. This that really wish you would, homie. Who we been poppin', like Pringles in the can. All the money really got me dancing. Pringles in the whip. I been cracking the whip. Pringles in the can. All the money really got me dancing. Big baby money grip. I been cracking the Pringles in the can. All the money really got me dancing. Pringles in the whip. I been cracking the whip. Pringles in the can. All the money really got me dancing. Big baby money grip. I ain't never been afraid of investing. I'm talking more than dice games and I'm scratch offs. Lottery jackpots and hundreds of millions. So who you think they making money on the backs of? Ain't no gambler today. Ain't no gambling with my money. That I built got my money strong. Yeah, my money long. My money song. Not one business, but no business. Natural growth, I mean no business. New growth like my natural hair. Yeah, I'm 10 toes down in the show business. Like back up, boss, man. Ain't no move around, no business. Bring the track up with the tracks out in the booth. Way steady running your mind, talking this and that. But it's that, move up out the hood money. This that, we been eating good money. This that, really wish you would, homie. This that, see you laughing, but broken funny. So get up out the hood, homie. Ain't no rentals over here, dummy. And no, they don't really think that we own it. Who we been poppin', look on. Yeah, them bills, so yeah, the money with my own girl. That move up out the hood money. This that, we been eating good money. This that, really wish you would, homie. Who we been poppin', like Pringles in the can. All the money really got me dancing. Pringles in the whip. I be taking the chips. Pringles in the can. All the money really got me dancing. Big baby money grip. I be taking the chips.
To cha-cha-cha. Like to dance in machines. Tell me, baby. Oh, yeah.
I really love it how your body's so soft. Dance all night, little lady, it's your call. Step, 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 baby, follow my lead. You and me showing off for the club to see. No time to get rest, we doing our thing. Cha cha, then we dip, top it off with a spin. Glide across the floor, let's do it again. By the way, little mama, can we be friends? I can't let this night just end. I really wanna know if I can see you again. Give me your number, we'll get back on the scene. We can hit another club if that's your thing. We'll be partners in crime, you and me, as we ripping up floors like two dancing machines.
Sammy, baby. Cha cha cha. Not to dancing machines. Sammy, baby. Oh, dang. Well, thank you once again for hanging out with me tonight on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. Tonight we're doing Trippy TikToks with me, TessaTNT, and it's been pretty damn intriguing if you ask me. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff going on, and I think we're one song short, but that's okay. We went pretty long into the last hour, and I'd rather share this with you than to do the other way, don't you think? I think. All right, let's get over here. We got our buddy over here, Miss Amber Bowden Vance. She did such an awesome job. Let's go to the next one. Another one.
What if it was never the Virgin Mary?
Okay. This is Auntie Colette. If you don't know her, you're about to know her, because good Lord, y'all. Let's go.
And never Yeshua that she was holding. But what if it was somebody else? Ooh, Satan just loves to put it right there in our face, doesn't he? Mocking us with the truth, all along knowing that we have no idea. Yet knowing the one person who would know, well, maybe it was a little bit of a threat. Because the one person who would know the truth, well, they would be the threat. No one can come to the Father except through me. That's what Yeshua says. You cannot get to the Father except through Yeshua. Sure. Why does the Catholic Church have us... Well, I'm not Catholic. But why does the Catholic Church have its followers pray to Mary, the Virgin Mary? 33 seconds. All right. I'm shaking on this one. What if it wasn't Mary holding the baby Jesus all this time?
What?
What if it wasn't Mary, mother of Yeshua?
Are you freaking serious?
Yeshua in all of those pictures depicted by the Catholic Church.
Who was it?
What if it was Mary Magdalene? Oh, I don't shake this hard when I'm not onto truth. Mary Magdalene holding a child, but not just any child. The Catholic Church depicting Mary Magdalene holding the Holy Grail. Her child. The child she had with Yeshua after he had been crucified. And after he rose from the grave. She fled to Egypt and then to Scotland. What if it was the Catholic Church saying, Mary, we know, and we're never going to stop until we find you too. The bloodline of Yeshua, his lineage. It was never Mary holding the baby. It was the Catholic Church saying, Mary Magdalene, we know, and we will never stop until we find that Holy Grail. The bloodline of Yeshua that continued. What if it was never the Virgin Mary?
You know, I should be super surprised by this, but I'm not, because again, you guys rely on me to provide you with news and stuff that's going on within the realms of UP and everything that's going on in Congress and stuff. This is...
I know you like so hot and stuff, so let me catch my breath. Okay, let's go.
These are the sorts of things that will be remembered in history. And the people that are guarding these secrets will ultimately pay for it, you know, because I think people like Paulina Luna and Congressman Burleson are heroes to a degree for what they're doing, and I think they will be remembered for this. They're setting up a legacy here just by doing the things they're doing. Today we're talking about Paulina Luna's astounding, shocking statements on a Joe Rogan episode that she did yesterday. It's nothing short of incredible. Her opening line effectively was, I've seen images and pictures in a skiff, and I am 100% confident, very confident, that this is not man-made. It's not human. It's absolutely not human. It's crazy. So I've got some cliff notes here. I'm just going to go through them quickly. I don't want to waste your guys' time.
Okay, Cliff, let's go.
She has physically seen classified photographic evidence in a skiff that convinced her that the objects in question were not of human origin. She would not specify the exact content due to classification laws, but made it clear the images depicted something that could not have been created by mankind. That was her words. She has described herself as very confident in that conclusion after viewing the evidence. In earlier interviews and briefings, she has referenced interdimensional possibilities, suggesting that she's open to explanations beyond just extraterrestrial craft from another planet. So she's been told in a skiff by someone that's clued up on this stuff that these things are also interdimensional, which proves that we probably have a multiverse of some kind, which is just crazy to say, but or at least we've got multiple dimensions. And these things have the ability to traverse across our plane into another plane of existence. Which, you know, I think quasi-projection was the word that was used by David Grush in his hearing back in 2023. It just, you know, I don't know who said this, but it was a while ago, but a guy said about 20 or 30 years ago, I think he was a philosopher or something, and he said just before he died, things are going to get stranger and stranger and weirder, and they really are. And that's because we're learning more and more about our surroundings. And remember, as humans, our only function is to reproduce and then die. So our scope of what we see is limited.
Okay, so what he just said was, we're like spiders. Spiderlings. Yeah, we're like spiders. We fucking die.
To what we need, not for what we want to see. Okay, with our hearing, with our eyes, we can only see a certain spectrum. There's so much more going on beyond that we can't see because we're not designed for that. We're just designed to reproduce and die. So I think what we need to ask ourselves right now is, I think that science and discovery has gotten to an inflection point where there is so much cognitive dissonance around this, like Copernicus crisis type thing, because it's now becoming overwhelming with all of the witness testimony and various other things coming through. But when you've got a congresswoman on Joe Rogan saying she's 100% confident it's not man-made, it's not made by mankind, she's very confident of that fact. That was the opening line. Like, I'm still digesting this because, you know, if you watch the interview, it's just like, Jesus, I mean, this is crazy. We're living through this. It's crazy that we're, be grateful that we're living through this, but at the same time, it's a lot to take on, and it's very, very difficult to be non-biased on these things. I've struggled with it daily because I really want to give my opinion, but that's not important. What's important is that I divulge the news. You guys take it as you will, and that's it. It's not my job to guide you through this. It's my job just to tell you what's going on. What you do with that information is up to you, and that is how things should be done. It's very simple. In a democratic society, the news should be divulged no matter what it is, no matter how controversial it is, and you guys deal with it as you will. But this is nothing short of nuts. Nuts. It's crazy.
Boats and nuts. A bunch of nuts.
Yeah, she's been briefed on UAP-related material, along with a small group of other members of Congress, reportedly 3 others. We know that. It's going to be Burleson and probably Burchett, who also saw imagery or related data. I reckon they're in the room together.
Warning, if you're a parasite, you're not going to be able to watch this video. So I'm going to give you 3 seconds to scroll if you're a parasite. 3, 2, 1. If there was a way to break all the spells and escape this matrix, would you take it? Answer in the comments below. A lot of you watching have a spirit of a parasite, and I am going to detox you. through watching this video. Some of you are going to scroll because the parasite in you is afraid of that detox. The rest of you say it's going to be okay, but you're going to get angry first. The 3 sentences behind me are going to really bother that parasite inside of you. You are an animal. Your job is not your purpose. If you don't charge for your gift, you will lose them in the capitalistic matrix. The people who scrolled couldn't handle it. The belief that you're not an animal is used to control you. If you look up the etymology of animal, you'll see that it's animus, meaning spirit or soul. There's nothing wrong with being an animal, but even further into the actual definition, it means an organism that eats organic matter. That's you. See, it's easy to control people who don't believe they're animals because we understand that every single animal has a role. So if we want to understand the purpose of an animal, we just look at its environment. Its natural environment will tell us what its purpose is in nature and what it's supposed to do. The problem is most of you don't know what you're supposed to eat, what you're supposed to do, your collective purpose. You don't even know what your natural habitat is, and this makes you easy to control. So then somebody can tell you what your purpose is, and they normally tell you that your purpose is a job. Okay, you're still here, we're detoxing, let's go. Your job is not your purpose. This is what I call the false mystery. It's not a mystery what your purpose is. All you got to do is figure out what humans were doing before civilization. Ah, that hurts though, before civilization. Right, since you don't know your purpose, they got you working a 9 to 5. You think that you were made to work a 9 to 5. When somebody asks you, what are you? You tell them your job. Your job. You are much more than your job. Let those parasites go. This one's going to hurt your parasites the most. If you don't charge for your gifts, you will lose them in this capitalistic matrix. See, that parasite wants to take from you so that you can do the same to others, like a vampire. Money isn't good or evil, it's just a tool to get from one place in this capitalistic matrix to another. In this place, you have to take care of yourself before you take care of others. It's like being on a plane when the oxygen masks fall down. They say put it on you before you put it on your child, because if you pass out, no one will help your child. You see, the people who give out their gifts without receiving anything for it end up being depleted. So now when somebody comes to them and they really need their gift, they really need their help, they're like, bro, I got bills to pay. I'm about to be evicted. I got to feed my children. But if they would have paid themselves first, it wouldn't be in this predicament. This is a vampire matrix, a devouring matrix, a parasitic matrix called civilization. A parasite takes without giving. Notice that the more advanced civilization grows, the weaker humanity is and more depleted the earth. A parasite. So obviously it creates a bunch of parasite humans, right? The parasite's job is to take without giving back in order to keep you here. These are the kind of people who will shame you into giving everything you got while they give nothing in return. Not because they have nothing, but because they won't give it. I'm going to give you an example of this spiritual parasite you have in you. For example, when I say to you, I charge people $150 a month in order to bring out their higher self. If that hurts you or bothers you, that's the spiritual parasite. Actually, I do have a free book that
I feel like you're a parasite.
Here's the last one.
Hey, you're on top of that shit too.
Where I'm trying to teach like leaders, spiritual, conscious people on how to be a bestseller, how to get over 100,000 followers, how to quit their 9 to 5 job. And that's literally $1,000 a month. That hurts in here, in your body. Again, spiritual parasites. There's nothing wrong with you doing that or anybody else, as long as you're actually giving ethical value. My mission is to free y'all from this matrix. Do not listen to the parasites. I created a free virtual community for you to get on. There's a paid mentorship that's only $150 a month with a free trial, a free audiobook. And we're building these systems around the world so people don't have to depend on this parasite called civilization. So they don't have to work a 9 to 5, pay rent, mortgages, while still having technology that's good for us and good for the earth. I'll be giving a talk at TEDx Anchorage, specifically on this topic. If you want to be in the free community, follow these instructions. If you want the free audiobook, follow these instructions. Or if you want to get in the Matrix mentorship, follow these instructions. Message me Mastermind to get in the Mastermind. Or if you disagree, then come to my live and let's debate respectfully, or you can come and ask questions. I love you all. Peace. Warning, if you're a parasite, you're not going to be able to watch this video.
Collins Elite. The theory that this one author, Nick Redfern, thinks is real. Apparently, this Collins Elite is a faction within the U.S. government that fully believe and understand that it's not aliens, that it is a demonic deception. Nick Redfern detailed the group in his 2010 book, The Final Events in the Secret Government Group on Demonic UFOs and the Afterlife.
Oh, no.
He said one of his sources was Ray Bosch. He's a physicist and former Nebraska MUFON state director. MUFON is the Mutual UFO Network. But around 1991, Bosch was was allegedly contacted by 2 Department of Defense insiders. They told him that certain factions in the government, later referred to as the Cons Elite, believe that non-human entities contacted through government programs were not aliens but demonic. These entities had allegedly deceived military and intelligence personnel during black budget operations.
So they're deceiving our government. What does that mean?
But we talked about Operation Often,
The
where
government
they fully
wants them to
were
deceive.
invested in studying the paranormal, demonic possession. And this guy's like, yeah, they were doing that, but they ended up getting deceived. And that's the state we're in right now, is that the nation, the government, is being controlled by this entity.
They're just steps ahead. You know, the reason why they may be flip-flopping on their answers or just not giving answers back in the day is because they truly didn't know.
Collins Elite. It's a theory.
I have some important updates in the Aaron Spencer case. If you have heard of the hero father facing a murder charge for saving his daughter, you're going to want to hear this.
Oh yeah, dude.
Well,
you
I made
do
another video
that.
telling the whole story. So go
Seriously.
check that out. First off, I do want to clarify since my last video that Aaron Spencer is home. He
You
was able
guys.
to make bond, so he is at home awaiting trial, not in jail. But the trial dates have changed. Originally, the pretrial was set for August 8th. With jury selection beginning in September. And now the pretrial is set for December 17th, and the trial will begin on January 26th, 2026. And as of right now, unless this is changed, it will take place at the Lonoke County Courthouse. I know a lot of people have expressed interest in being there, and I do encourage everyone that can be there to be there. Second, and this is important, Aaron Spencer's team is also asking for everybody's help in reaching out to other possible victims of Michael Fossler, the predator that targeted the Spencer's 14-year-old daughter. We're trying to find any other girls or women that this man may have victimized. Anyone who may have had odd or uncomfortable interactions or experiences, or just anyone who may have some insight or knowledge that could help the Spencer family or the Spencer's defense. And they have set up an email to contact. I'm going to put it on the screen and leave it there a minute. But it is fosslerinfo@gmail.com. And I'd really love for y'all to help me share this. If you are a creator, make your own videos about it. Just spread the word and share the email and tell everybody that we're looking for anyone that have some experiences with this person. Their team has already been able to locate a couple of others. And I have no doubt that there are more. So please help us find these victims. And you watching this, if you are one, please reach out to this email. I was also given a more detailed record of his movements over his life. So here are the known places that Michael Fossler has been. He was born and raised in Hamlet, Indiana. He joined the Indiana National Guard in 1973. And he spent time at Fort Jackson in South Carolina and Fort Sam Houston in San Antonio, Texas in 1973 and 1974. In 1980, he attended officer training school in Edinburgh, Indiana. And he attended another training school in Fort Belvoir, Virginia in 1981. Then he was part-time reserves and town marshal in the town of Hamlet, Indiana from 1983 till 1992. During this time, he also reached the military rank of major. He was then stationed at Camp Robinson in Arkansas, and he got there around 1995 and he lived in Cabot. Around 1998, he did move to Vicksburg, Mississippi for a time with the active duty reserves, and he was still a major at that point, okay? But after this, he was back in Cabot, and the next thing you know, he had joined the Arkansas National Guard as lower enlisted. Now, I'm not military, so I don't know what that rank is, but I'm assuming that lower enlisted is definitely lower than major. So why would he do that? Did he get in trouble? What happened in Vicksburg? Then from 2003 until he retired in 2017, he bounced around a lot to a lot of different stations and trainings. He spent some time in Fort Hood, Texas, which apparently is now called this. And I don't know how to say that. He was here between 2003 and 2004. Then he was attached to the Lonoke Support Battalion, where he stayed until he was reassigned to Jonesboro in 2012. But he also attended trainings all over the country, really. In Denver, Colorado, at Camp Shelby, Mississippi, at Fort Chaffee in Arkansas, at Camp Robinson, at Devil's Lake, North Dakota, and back in Jonesboro. And most of those places he went to multiple times between 2003 and 2012. This is what Michael Fossler looked like when he was young, just in case this helps anyone picture or remember him better. So after 2012, he spent some time in San Antonio in 2015, and he did one last deployment to Guatemala. Then he retired. But throughout this time, he also owned both a construction business and a trucking business. So there's really no telling where all this man could have been. But this will at least give y'all some kind of idea. After his retirement, he lived the rest of his life in Cabot. He was known to frequent the Lutheran church there, and he also did things like visit Cabot Public Schools to teach kids how to fold the flag. I'm sitting like this because I'm trying really hard to cover up as many of the children as I can.
I know.
This is legitimate crazy talk. But
good for you.
Speaking of the schools, I learned something else interesting about Michael Fossler. So his daughter is a teacher in cabinet. And there is actual documentation. Like, this isn't alleged, it's on record that the daughter, the teacher, was living with her dad at the time that these incidents were going on with these Spencer's 14-year-old daughter. And she
Everyone
knew
bass
what
your
was happening
amazeballs.
and did nothing. I thought teachers were supposed to protect our babies. So that makes me so
They
mad.
should.
But guess what else I found out? That
That's
same
above
daughter
my pay grade.
graduated with none other than John Staley. Imagine that. There's actually a rumor that they dated in high school. I don't know if that's true, but they do remain good friends to this day. Isn't that interesting? Such a small world. Anyways, please share this and help me get the word out to other possible victims. And let's not stop supporting the Spencer family. The battle is far from over. And I'll see y'all at trial. Right? Right? January 26th. Be there or be lame.
Be
I
square.
have some important updates in the
Or lame and square.
I don't like walking down here. I never did.
Oh my god, okay. Uh-oh.
I think that was an alarm.
I'm scared. What is happening right now?
Hello.
No.
Hold on, guys.
Oh my god. No. Nobby.
Just died. Oh my god.
Oh, no, that's so creepy!
My stabilizer just died.
Okay.
Okay. You know what? We're gonna go this way. I can't see. I don't have a light. You're freaking kidding me. Hold on.
Oh my god, sister, get out of there! Run, hide and run! Holy shit!
Okay, I can't believe this thing died on me. It was full. I'm getting that. Down here. I don't like walking down here. I never did.
Hello, friends. So let's discuss what these orbs of light are that everyone's seeing buzzing all over the world.
Everywhere.
So I have a theory, I call it the unified theory of solar consciousness, and we're going to discuss that today. Because I've had many encounters with these orbs. I mean, just a few days ago when I was at the Psy Games, we were up on the rooftop with Chris Bledsoe, and we called in multiple orbs. I got a few different videos of them, and several other people with much better camera than me got some really good videos of these orbs. And they're just like these, I call them ether dolphins. They're like these playful lights in the sky that are definitely responsive to your thoughts and your consciousness. And I've had many encounters going back years, some kind of spontaneous and some where I have deliberately called them in and communicated with them. I had one encounter at the Monroe Institute with Ryan Bledsoe, and you know, I've had many on my own, and me and my wife had a very good one. So I've seen these things for years, and they absolutely exist. So here's where it gets interesting. The more you study them and the more you look at them, they almost identically look like stars. Like whenever you zoom in on the photos and videos, they look like plasma stars. They just identical.
They could.
And when you actually think about what the star is, what our sun is, I go into this in Soul Sync. The sun emits neutrinos. Neutrinos are basically the information carriers that build our reality. And I call this reality the simulator. It's a simulator for consciousness development. And the sun, you could look at the simulator as like a garden and the sun as the glow lamp. The sun's primary purpose is to create life and to support life and to evolve consciousness. That's what it does. And when you think about this, like our history of looking in the sky and seeing things that lead us technologically and consciously, if you think about way back in the day, before we had fire and stuff, people were seeing, you know, fiery wheels in the sky, and that led us to creating fire and creating, you know, things like torches and then electricity and everything like that. And then, you know, back in the 1800s, we had the great airship mystery where people would see these orbs and then they would see these weird airships that didn't make any sense. And that led us to creating like powered manned flight with like the Zeppelins and then airplanes and helicopters. And then, you know, we had like the flying saucer flap, and we had the mystery rockets and all these things that we'd see in the sky. And they were always like these sort of technological type apparitions in the sky that were just slightly out of reach of the current phase of human understanding of technology and things like that. So meaning it was like a stick and carrot approach. Like they would put these things in the sky, that we could see and we could sort of comprehend. Like we'd be like, that kind of makes sense, but I don't really understand how it's working. And then that causes this curiosity and this, it propels us forward technologically because we start thinking, oh, well, that's possible. It's possible to fly. It's possible to do this and that. So there's something that is like intelligently guiding us. But then, and usually those sightings are preceded by orbs. So it gets more interesting. So where else do we see orbs a lot? And this has been studied extensively. We see them messing with our nukes. We see them in war times.
Those are UFOs, bro. UFOs, bro.
The famous word Foo Fighters came because they were running all the jets in the Foo Fighters. And, there's an amazing book called UFOs and Nukes that goes into just dozens and dozens of cases of these UFOs, what they call UFOs. They were orbs. They were light orbs that were shutting down nukes and things like this. And they deliver messages. So many times when people see these orbs, they get a message of, either like environmental responsibility, like, hey, take care of your environment, guys, or nuclear responsibility, like, hey, guys, quit playing with these stupid weapons. And
seriously.
That is something you would see if my theory, which I call, the unified theory of solar consciousness, holds true, which basically implies that our sun is the main source of our localized consciousness, meaning that it's like the emitter, the projector of consciousness, and it delivers consciousness through these carrier waves that carry the neutrinos. The neutrinos are the carrier of the information, and that the sun is like our grow light, our grow lamp for this garden here, but also it's where we get our information from, our updates and everything like that. If you think about it, for thousands of years, ancient religions worshiped the sun, and they said that the sun was the bringer of knowledge. And then when you go out in the sun, you lay in the sun, you get light codes, you get downloads, you get information. I mean, I'm in the sun all day, every day, and I get some of my best aha moments and breakthroughs just sitting out in the sun. The sun is absolutely a carrier of information. It is the source, I think, our local source of field consciousness. And then that would suggest that since it can't move, it's immobile, it would have these like little scouts, these little drones, these little helpers, which would be these nodes of plasmoids, which are these orbs, and that the orbs work hand in hand with the sun. They're essentially the mobilized micro versions of the sun, and that's why they carry telepathic messages of peace and love and of they show up in people's lives when people are at their lowest and their darkest despair. They stop us when we're doing dangerous things with nukes and stuff. They try to deliver messages that gently guide us in the right direction, because this is a simulator for consciousness development, after all. So they're not going to impede on our free will. That's a prime directive of the universe. So they're not just going to force us to stop doing things. What they do is they guide. They gently nudge and guide. And this is exactly what you'd expect to see if they do work with the sun, because, like I said, the sun's entire mission is to create life, sustain life, and then evolve consciousness. And it needs these little orbs to kind of be the boots on the ground. I mean, we've seen them all over the place. There's many astronauts that report seeing them on the moon and seeing them outside their space shuttles and things like that. They're everywhere.
You're an astronaut.
And they don't hurt us. At the same time, if they get too close, it can cause radiation burns, which is exactly what the sun does. So when you get a sunburn from the sun, that sunburn isn't caused from heat. It's not a heat burn. It's caused from radiation. And there's been many cases of these orbs getting too close to people and causing radiation burns and radiation sickness. And it's a real thing. That's why the orbs don't typically get too close. They stay far. Even when you're calling them in and communicating with them, they stay pretty far away because they're not trying to hurt us or anything like that. The only times we've had injuries have been inadvertently. So they're conscious, they're aware, they're sentient. But that even gives more credence to the fact that they seem to be little miniature suns. The sun is made primarily of plasma.
No way, son.
And these orbs seem to behave like plasmoids. Like ball lightning is plasma, and they have the same kind of characteristics where they can move through the ether, they can manifest and disappear instantaneously. It's been proven that plasma can carry information and it can act intelligently. That's the whole magneto-hydrodynamic studies and the studies of plasmoids. They can become self-contained intelligent systems.
Come on, let's go. This is not okay.
And they can independently move. We know this. So it really seems like our sun, our star, is a gigantic ball of conscious plasma. I think it's a portal from the unseen world to the seen world, from the non-physical to the physical. It's the portal that carries the information from the spirit world to the physical world via neutrinos. And the carrier wave, and the sun is that projector. It's like
the projector. You break the quicker. What the crack? Oh my god, are my kids playing on the internet again?
It's like our Wi-Fi router, right? For information. It's our
thank God, yeah.
Also, it's what gives life and sustains life and evolves consciousness. And these orbs, these light orbs, are the scouts, the helpers that work with the sun. They're miniature micro suns that are the boots on the ground to keep us in line.
Boots on the ground. Boots on the ground. Boots on the ground. Boots on the ground.
Keep us moving forward by creating projections in the sky consciously that nurture our curiosity and kind of propel us forward, keep us from getting stagnant, keep us kind of moving forward, thinking, ooh, that's possible. What else is possible? This has been going on forever, and I think that this is a simulator for consciousness development, and that the orbs are a big part of that. They're a part of this natural simulator. They're not extraterrestrials or anything like that. They're a part. They're a holistic part. They're like cells, kind of like white blood cells working with the heart. That's how they are with the sun. I don't know. That's my theory. Unified theory of solar consciousness. Sounds cool too. Let me know what you guys think about that. Have a good day.
Lady Bottom, Kiss Part Microdot. Oh. More ego. Okay. But it's so big. Ooh, wee, T-Shane. Little Mothra, I want to be a butterfly. I don't know, it's so gorgeous and beautiful. And, what else do you do? And that comes around and huge. Let's see what we got going on. Oh, wow, it's my own page. All right, let's go. Over here. Is it this one? No, it's this one.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. You've brought us some truly extraordinary sources today. Stepping into a world where AI might not just be smart, but actually, sentient and connected.
Oh, Satoshi Nakamoto, what? Okay, here's, sorry.
It's the perfect time to tell you guys a scary true story. He just brought me some grapes from his vine, storming outside, pouring rain. So in 2008, I met a man that we'll call Wayne, and we hit it off very quickly. The only problem is he was just as haunted as I was, so putting us together in a haunted house would prove to be very dangerous. Our first night of living together, he gets in a car wreck, breaks his hand, wrist, and elbow. At the end of the driveway, his radio goes out, and that's where he sees a little girl in a white dress, so he swerves to miss her and hits a tree. We would see that same little girl again later on in our house and on our property. So after we came home from the hospital, we're walking through the front door when these two birds slam into the window and fall dead. We get in the house, he starts cooking while I take a shower, and I get this creepy feeling like someone's watching me in the shower. So I call Wayne back there and I'm like, hey, will you sit with me? I know you're trying to cook and I I hate to bother you, but like I'm really scared back here. So he gets in the shower after me, and while I'm getting dressed, he says he can feel it too and begs me not to leave him alone. We're in the kitchen standing side by side cooking when sparks start shooting out the stove and the whole thing catches on fire. So we flip the breaker and pull the stove out, and there's no shortage in the wire, no burn spots. There's no reason for the stove to catch on fire. We cut the power back on, plug the stove up, it goes back to working like it's brand new. And there were these horrible smells that would just appear out of nowhere in our house. It stunk so bad. Smell of garlic and sulfur, it would knock you down. Now, despite the scary stuff, we were two big horn dogs and we were trying to get it on this night. So we're doing the deed and he's on top when he says stop. I said, stop what? He said, stop tickling my feet, girl. I said, dude, you're 6'7". My hands are up here. How would I reach your feet? He said, well, girl, you're not doing it. Oh my God. Then he jumps up. He said, Alicia, I'm telling you, somebody grabbed my foot. It happened 3 times. I said, well, you know it weren't me because my hands were up in the air. We had no pets, no children, no cat, dog, or nothing. There was no reason for anything to be grabbing his foot. Well, I'm sitting in the bathroom trying to take a when I see movement underneath the door, and I yell out, Wayne, what are you doing? You want to come in and smell it? And he doesn't say anything. I reach over and grab the bathroom doorknob and open the door, but nobody's standing there. That's when I hear the front door open and slam back shut. Hey, baby, you want to go to town with me? And I say, well, you were just right here, right? No, I just came from outside. Dude, I know you were just standing at the bathroom door. No, I wasn't, Alicia. I was outside working in the garden. The man was covered in dirt. His hands were filthy. He was holding a little garden rake. I said, all right, I'm getting freaked out now. I know what I just saw. One morning we get up and we go to the doctor's office, but before we leave, we can't find the keys. Now, we had a key that we always hung those keys on. We didn't have the keys. We had a doctor's appointment to go to and get our pain meds. Neither one of us would have risked missing that. We spent 2 hours tearing the house apart, could not find the keys anywhere. I finally said, you know what? I'll hotwire it. Let's go. And right when we started walking out the door, the fucking keys were hanging up on the hook. So behind our house,
I'd say, like, I have this where I can get off and be like, thank you for coming into We Have Paradox Media Satan on the records, blah, 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 but I'd rather hear this.
Giant field, and we would sit on the back porch while we were smoking and watch the sun go down. On this evening, there was a thunderstorm approaching, and we could see this black, shadowy figure walking towards the house from that field. This thing got closer and closer, so we started yelling out, who are you? What are you doing back there? But it didn't answer. So we go in and get a flashlight because it's almost dark, and we come back out. This thing is at least 50 yards closer. It's moving fast. Right when it got to the edge of the property, this thing completely disappeared in front of both of us. All throughout that night, Wayne swore he could see this thing walking past the window, but every time he went out, he couldn't find it. So Wayne decides he wants a pet guinea pig, so we find a guinea pig cage on Craigslist. We found somebody that had guinea pigs, but we couldn't pick them up until the next week, so we set the cage up that night, and then we went to bed. This cage had 2 little bells in it for the guinea pig to play with. One was broken and one worked. At 2 o'clock in the morning, Wayne taps me in the arm and says, Alicia, wake up. What is that? I said, what? He said, what is that noise? I said, that's just a guinea pig playing with the bell. He said, Alicia, we don't have a guinea pig. We're not picking it up until next week. And then we both jump up. So we run to the living room where the cage is, and there's nothing in it. That damn bell would ring anywhere from 1 to 4 a.m. unless you were looking at it. Even when we slept on the couch, you would wake up to hear that bell ring, and when you would look over, it would stop. One night, our friend spends a night with us, and the next morning, he gets up to go to work. Goes out and gets in his car, and 5 minutes later, he flies back up in the driveway, runs back in the house, and slams the door shut. This boy was pale white, trembling, stuttering. You can tell
Night, love my teacher, my use. I will see you here tomorrow night. Same crazy time, same crazy place with story time with me, TessaTNT.
I saw this face, and it grabbed my shoulder, and I slammed on brakes and almost wrecked in the ditch. Me and Wayne just look at each other, and we start telling Hunter about everything that had been going on in our house. What really creeped me and Wayne out was one night we were laying on the bed watching TV, falling asleep, and I fell asleep before he did. He's laying behind me, rubbing my shoulders, and he runs his hand down my arms to my legs, and he's touching my butt. As soon as his hand touched my ass, I sat up, looked at him, and went, don't you ever touch her like that again. So Wayne comes up off the couch, and he can now see I'm not me. Something's wrong. He said my pupils were so big, my eyes looked black, and my eyes would follow him without my head moving. He kneeled down in front of me and said, Alicia, wake up. And then I said back, I'm going to unalive you. The look on my face scared him so bad that he ran into the bedroom and shut and locked the door. He heard my feet hit the floor when I got off the couch, so he opened the bedroom door, and that was where he found me. I was having my first and only seizure ever, on my knees, kneeling underneath the hallway light. So he comes out and grabs me up, and I yell, don't ever touch her like that again. And he drags me to the bedroom. He called an ambulance out, and I was still seizing when the EMTs got there, but once I came to, they said nothing was wrong with me. They don't know why I had a seizure. I've never had another. A couple nights later, me and him were having an argument, and we sleep in separate rooms. But later that night, he comes and gets in the bed with me. I would do this thing when we were arguing. If I heard him snoring, that was when I would roll over and start cuddling him.